This is the future. Evolution. This is the future. Evolution. This is the future.
Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you very much. This is the 48th episode of the MFer Podcast. I thank you very much for joining me. As a reminder, we are live on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter. And this episode will be up tomorrow morning anywhere you get podcasts. So that'd be Spotify, iTunes, any other podcast hosting site that exists. I don't know. But head on over there. Give your boy a review to get those numbers juiced up. And also follow me on Instagram, X, for nice spicy takes, you know, sometimes. But anyway, I'm glad you are all here. I have a very special guest for you guys today. You know him. You love him. The one, the only
Vigilante Williamson here on, I guess it's the 48th episode of the MFer. I guess the 103rd or whatever the fuck episode of Culture Crime Fighters. Or the, the postseason. You know how they do like a special episode after the series is over? Like here's a reunion episode. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, our reunion episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's
I think
good
I've
to
been on
see you.
another MFer podcast.
Yeah, I think last year.
Yeah.
Maybe earlier this year. At some point you've been on.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, it's always good to hang out and talk. We haven't talked in a while, so it's good to reconnect and talk and catch up, and all the good shit. There's some old faces in the chat. We got Sentient Dildo. Hello,
Sentient
sir.
Dildo.
Low Spec Linux Laptop. What's up, baby? Now it's Low Spec Linux Gaming. He's been doing Deus Ex quite a bit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and look at this Ogre Squasher.
Hey, it's cool to see Ogre Squasher.
Haven't seen you in a while, sir. Thanks for stopping by.
Party like it's 2021.
Let's go. Old Culture Crime Fighters days.
Yeah.
Ruben. Hello, Ruben. The old gang is back.
I'm trying to get like him. His health journey. Holy shit.
It's wild.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, man. That's rad. Good for you. Very impressed.
Yeah.
And Cotton Ministries, also AKA Papa Cotton, AKA Wook. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Yeah.
So, how you been,
people.
Vigilante? How are things?
They're things. Things are good. Things are good. I'm trying to be a little bit more positive. Things are good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
And so yeah, things are good. How are things with you, man?
Yeah, they're pretty good, man. Kind of the same thing, trying to not be too pessimistic. I think that's probably my biggest Achilles heel is sort of like negative thinking, Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can be your own worst enemy sometimes,
Absolutely. What's the Mark Twain quote? Most of the things I worried about never happened or something like that.
Sure, yeah, something clever like that, something insightful.
Yeah. I'm sure I fucked it up, but
no, the power of positive thinking is a real thing. As corny as it sounds, it's like that, when you're angry, it's like take a deep breath and you're like, whatever, like that would work, but it does.
Yeah.
It's like those things work for some reason. I don't know why, but they do. Just how our bodies work, how our minds are wired. You think positively, you have better outcomes,
Yeah, and I think it's something with it. Something your breathing has a huge, not to go super like self-help, but your breathing does have a huge impact on mood. There's like all sorts of breathing techniques, which I don't know, but I just know that they exist.
They exist, yeah. We used to do some breathing techniques in acting school, and they would be like these really weird, like kind of frou-frou stuff, and you sort of like force your breath here and then like breathe it up and then down. It was really wild, but I didn't realize like how often in life I was just holding my breath. And that kind of creates like tension in your body.
Yeah.
And then kind of anxiety follows that. And I never realized that.
Okay. Maybe I need to do some of this stuff.
There's definitely some reality to it. I mean, if you ever do like yoga or meditation, it's all about breathing.
Yeah. And I need to get back to meditation.
Me too.
I'm trying to be positive. I didn't say I was positive. As Since You Ditto reminds us, if you're on my strand, sometimes I watch Chinese feminist videos. I'm watching a lot of brain rot.
Are you now?
I am rotting my brain with memes. I have to stop because I have to. I just watch absolute nonsense. I'm not a Zoomer, but I do feel like, when you're young and then there's like the older people who are like somehow trying to connect to the youth, but they have no fucking clue. The hello fellow kids. Yeah. I'm starting to feel like I'm hello fellow kids, but not intentionally. I didn't intentionally put this skateboard and this hoodie on me. It just has happened.
I'm really recognizing my age when I'm around people in their 20s. Like it's a different generation. Absolutely it is. Just the way they talk and their like points of reference and just even how they operate. They just feel different from me. But I think it's just kind of the best thing to do is just embrace it. Yeah, that's all you can do. Yeah. Like don't try to be cool. Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't pull it off. I couldn't pull it off being cool when I was young. I'm not going to get better at it now that I'm old. So you got to live with it. I think one of the funniest jokes is when people they're like, oh, I wish I could go back and like do high school all over again. It's just like, you'd still suck at it. Yeah. It wasn't a mistake the first time. Yeah. No, yeah. I would never want to do high school again. Fuck no. No. I got through it the first time. That's it. It's like it's like high school's a fucking hazing ritual. No, I don't want to get through it. I did have a lot of fun. Yeah. I did have some good friends, would cut school, get high, play Halo. Having friends, that's the thing you do. I did, I was a lot closer to friends. I had a lot more friends in that era. And it was like a crew that you just hang out with all the fucking time. Yeah, and it was like the number one priority was hanging out with your friends. I mean, that was the most important thing you had going on. Like, you didn't really have bills, maybe a few here and there, your car insurance or something. But you didn't have rent and responsibilities. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it was like the most important thing was having a good time with your buddies. Yeah, and trying to get pussy. Trying to get pussy, but that's still, that's a given. Yeah. But when you're 19, it's like, oh man, I could actually do it, sorta. Yeah. I actually have a bed in my dorm that I can bring them to. Having to sneak them in my house through the back door. Got some new people in the chat. Yeah. Mike DiCarlo. Hello, Mike DiCarlo. Good to see you, sir. Hey, Mike. Hello. LDG, hashtag free the net. Hey, LDG. Appreciate it. Just talked to him earlier. To you. Oh, cool. Manolo Rivera. Hello. Hey. Manolo. Yeah, good to see you. Oh, and Sentient Dildo's reminding me that what they told you in Hollywood, when your mouth is full, breathe through your nose. Good advice. That's good advice, Sentient Dildo. That's for everyone in the chat. Don't use the baby oil at Diddy parties because it's spiked. Oh, if there's one person in this world I'd like to hear their take on the Diddy thing, he's on the stream with me right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Golly, it's been that long. Because this Diddy thing has been brewing pretty much all year, but it's just gotten, ratcheted up over the past couple months or whatever. It kind of went away for a while when he was on the lam. Yeah, went away. Aren't they just going to arrest him? Why haven't they arrested him? Man, there's a lot of Epstein theories on why, they haven't arrested him or they have, and Epstein what may or may not happen to him. Yeah. So, yeah. It's an interesting one. There's some spicy headlines. Absolutely, there's some spicy shit. Yeah. It's these with pictures. It's interesting because it's kind of like some of the I don't want to say QAnon, but sort of like the more like crazy conspiracy theories about like Hollywood and the music industry. It's like a lot of it is coming out as not that far-fetched, you know?
Exactly.
Haven't gotten to like the real darkness of it, but there's plenty of, yeah, that kind of sounds correct.
Yeah. And Central Diddles and Monty. Yeah, we have talked about it quite a bit on our stream. And then he's not here.
I haven't. I have not. I didn't get the
no.
chance, you know?
There's a guy on my channel, and he's not here. You know, I posted the shit in the Instagram and the thing, Retro Richard, and he's like obsessed with the Diddy thing
really?
for some reason. Like he's going back to the youth. He's like 19, and so I don't get it.
Is
he has a weird troll obsession with Diddy,
huh?
And he'll like post like links of Diddy, and then what he's also did, and this leads to Cotton saying rap is gay, and I have no evidence to argue against him. And the internet has done this. They find these old Diddy lyrics, and they're like all like super sus, and it's like, Jesus, he was telling us the whole time, we weren't listening.
Ryan Long did a sketch about that where it was like a rapper came out and was like, you know, like, no, that's not what it sounded like. But obviously in his sketch, like the lyrics are super, you know, sexual. But, you know, there was one time when I was in college and I was smoking weed and I was listening to Snoop Dogg and I was like, this is kind of gay.
Right?
You know, like all the like, fuck these hoes, we don't like these hoes, all this stuff. I was just like sharing it with your boys. I'm like, it's all a little gay, right?
Yeah, ain't no fun unless my homie have some. What?
Yeah,
What is going on?
I know.
And there's a lot of these nuts in your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of homo like, you know, homosexual imagery. You know, it's like, it's in there. It's in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, look, I'm not throwing shade on the guy. I love the guy. I'm a fan of Dr. Dre, but there's always that image that Eazy-E put out of him.
I think I used it in the video because it was just like, I think I had an Eazy-E reference and it had Dr. Dre in the makeup and the shiny, weird, tight leather suit. It's like, this is not the gangster that you represented just like a year later. You know what I mean?
That's not the straight out of Compton fella.
No, listen, man. There's no way around it. Hip hop, at least mainstream hip. I think it extends the whole music industry, especially like pop and mainstream. But there's something super gay, and there's no way I can't deny it, man.
I heard someone saying like, you know, there's a reason why Mace ran the hell out of there and like went to the church. You know, went to the cloth.
Yeah.
Right. It's like he must have seen some shit.
I know he's seen some shit
or done some shit.
Yeah, probably both. There's no way. He was a pretty, you know, now he has the fucking podcast, the sports podcast, which is kind of funny.
Does he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, him and Cameron have a basketball podcast, and it's gotten, over the past like year or so, it's gotten pretty popular. It's called, what is it? It is what it is, or something like that. I see clips of it in my brain rot.
Well, I don't know if he still is, but wasn't like Joe Budden like one of the biggest podcasters out there?
Yeah, he did have a big podcast. I don't know if he still does either.
Yeah.
But he did have a massive fucking podcast.
It's amazing how much content is out there, like how many podcasts exist that are big that like I don't even know about.
Yeah.
You know? Like today on the Boys Cast, they had Papa sent me the thing. It was this guy Joey B. Tunes.
I think I've seen him. He's like an animated thing.
I don't know. I think he just does videos on YouTube. I'd never heard about him, but Papa Cott was super excited. He's got like over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
No idea.
We don't have a unified mainstream.
There's another.
Everybody
I went down another
has
rabbit hole. I went down a bit of a rabbit hole talking about like, and this is like someone that I'm relatively aware of. Did you pay attention to what happened with Nick Rekeita?
Sort of, yeah. I know at the time I did when he was crashing out, to use a modern term. Because I know it was something with like cocaine.
Yeah.
And that his kids, maybe like his young kids may have had some cocaine or something like that in their system. Or something.
I didn't hear about that, but I heard that like, I thought he got swatted. Is what I thought happened. I thought it was like a Tim Pool, like someone swatted him because they didn't like him, and then they found, you know, some shit. I had no idea. I watched this video by this guy. it was something funny, like Cucumber Feet or something like that is the
Yeah.
guy's name. I forgot, but he does really good stuff. He did one on Opie and Anthony, and then I was scrolling and I saw this Nick Rekeita thing. I was like, oh yeah, I always wanted to know whatever happened with that. So apparently, he's this kind of famous, legal YouTuber, right? Talks about all, law. He would do the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. That's how I knew of him.
Yeah, same here. I think those two trials blew him up.
So according to this video, I did very little other research, but according to this video, after the Johnny Depp trial, he ended up getting like a whole new crowd of people paying attention to him, and he kind of became like an on-air, like kind of a freak. Like
I heard some of this too. Like apparently he wife swaps or some shit like that,
and was open about it and was showing like sex toys and stuff.
I didn't know all this.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Like the guy, he shows a video of like I didn't even know what the hell it was. It was some kind of rubber cup that you put your balls into or your dick. I really didn't know what I was looking at. But anyway, so I was like, whoa. And so I guess it started to get out of hand. And then there's this show, they're actually on right now, called Steel Toe Morning Show. And I watched some of their stuff because I think they had Anthony Cumia on one time, and I'm a fan and was curious, and they were talking about that. And I would check in with their show every once in a while, but they do 4-hour streams every single day. I mean, you gotta really be a fan of someone to commit to that level of content. Yeah. And so anyway, so I just knew of them a little bit, and I popped in one day and I noticed that the girl isn't in the stream anymore. It was always the two hosts. It was the man and wife, and they do the stream. And it was just like some other guy. And then I saw a lot of downvotes on their video, and I was like, "What the hell's going on here?" So apparently, they went to go stay with Nick or something like that, and kind of allegedly opened up the marriage, and his wife stayed.
Oh, whoa!
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so it was like hedonism over there at the Rekeita house, I guess. And
holy shit.
They were partying and doing drugs, and then I guess somehow the police got called. I'm not sure if it's been revealed how it happened, but then they found all this drugs, and then like I guess the children were considered endangered, and then there was like also some kind of weapons charge where he had like illegal ammunition or something like that. But long story short, he's facing 25 years.
Holy shit. See, I didn't, and some of the chat, we had talked a little bit about some, but like you, I didn't do every bit of research. I saw a video from some guy. I did hear some stuff. Speaking of that, he used to have a guy on this show called Drax. I think it was Drax or something like that. Apparently that was his bull or something.
Oh.
Which I'm like, whoa, this is dark. This is fucking crazy. And I don't know if it was because of this, but like on his streams, because I saw a video, like you could see like the lines on his nose and shit. You can see, he had just taken a bump. So it was like obvious. I'm not sure. Maybe it was sort of a SWAT thing, but actually valid. You know what I mean? Because I don't know exactly who called the police and what was the impetus behind that, but
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I got a little freaked out about it. Like afterwards, I just got so like, because it's like we're streaming. You know what I mean? I've drank on the air. I don't have any demons like that guy has, but it's like he was super successful and wealthy and a streamer, and then just became a total, as Newbomb put it. Who said it? Newbomb said the lol cow. Just became a lol cow. And I was looking at like recent tweets, from, I was just trying to like a little Twitter rabbit hole, and it's still like all the mentions from anything on Steel Toe is all about his wife getting cucked by Rekeita and all that. And I was just like,
wow, that's crazy work.
Oh my God, man, there is another side to like being a successful streamer.
Yes. Bro, I talk about this shit. I've talked about this shit many a time. Like, it's not the worst thing to not have all the success, because shit. I think one of the stances, like I said before the stream, I don't know if I have the same stances I did. One of the stances I've changed the most on is my view of the fandom as a whole. Right?
Interesting. Anything you care to share, or is it?
I'll share. Okay. I've said it. I mean, I hope it don't mess you up, because it seems like a lot of people still.
These are your opinions; they're not mine necessarily.
Yeah, it's true, and I don't hate anybody. I still have the utmost respect for everybody, even though I don't watch their content anymore. Even though I don't watch even the erotic. I don't watch this. I haven't watched content in years.
Don't worry about that shit, Matt. You're not a successful YouTuber, and you're already a lol cow. Fuck you.
Oh, it's great. I see now that since she
Hey.
still has someone else to troll that isn't me, it's just fun. Oh yes, right. He would just go after Matt. So
Oh, yeah, but-
hey,
32. What's up, brother? What's going on, Nick?
hey Nick.
How you doing, pal? Good to see you, man.
So we get game with Toxic Tuesday.
Oh yeah, right on. Yeah, have
Yeah,
fun there,
Toxic
brother.
Tuesday. I would
Hell
love
yeah.
to be on a Toxic Tuesday again if possible.
That was a
I'm probably
good
about to
time.
ruin that.
That was a good time. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's really fun.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Um,
Public
but yeah,
success is a roller coaster, indeed.
public success is a roller coaster.
Indeed.
I definitely am scared of public success to some extent. I look at young Rippa, and I look at a guy who absolutely, I thought of as an intelligent guy with a lot of his takes, for especially out of COVID, when COVID was happening.
Mm-hmm.
A guy who had a lot of success with his comic, whether or not all the assets were his or not. I'm not gonna argue.
So is there, like, what's the word? Like suspicion there?
I guess either the artist traced some of those assets, or they were like used
like from
assets.
other.
Yeah.
Ooh, sus.
And there's been some backlash at some of the stuff and how good those comics are. And not, there's still a lot of people who like it.
I've
but
definitely heard some pushback in the whole Comicsgate community. There's like a whole back and forth. It's a drama.
That's another thing. And just that whole drama against EVS.
Your boy Zach,
like
just lost his mind.
Did he? See, I don't even keep up with the.
Lost his mind.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like was going at Gary and going at like guys who were very friendly to him.
Oh yeah, there was a division of who was on Rippa's side and who was on the other side. I didn't know each detail. I knew EVS versus Rippa, and then Gary and a lot of FNT guys sided with Rippa, and then the other people side. But I didn't know all the details. But just seeing how that whole thing fell off, I felt that status and fame was a huge part of it, whether it was implied or not. There was just something happens to your ego. Like, we all have egos. None of us are perfect. And I think something happens when you look at your page and see like hundreds of thousands of views, and you look at these YouTube checks, and then you're able to fucking sell a comic book for millions of dollars. Like, you're not going to be the same person. And so, listen, I'm not trying to be some hippie. We all need fucking money. No, there isn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. We are rehashing the past.
But I like this. Because I haven't really been paying attention to much of it. I still check in with the Nerd Sphere, probably most like Critical Drinker, but I'll still like check in with Gary and stuff like that, and just pop in, see what's going on. I don't consume it the way I used to, but I still like those guys. Like, they've always been extremely cool to me. I have nothing but positive things to say about everyone I've met there. So it's just, I'm just curious because I don't know all this drama.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm be honest, I don't either. But that there is drama has given me not a totally different view. It's not really just a drama. I do feel like I said, money's a major issue. I wish I had more of it. Everyone does.
Sure,
but I felt like certain compromises, is that the best word, have been made in the pursuit of money. Not even compromising. And how much do I hate that? And how much do I look at that, understand it, and say, well, how do I avoid these traps? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do I avoid not just the money? I don't want a Rekeita crash out. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm like, especially with like the drinking and the doing blow, it's just like, I have done those things to excess before.
Yeah, alcohol and bitches is a bad mix. I mean, it's a good mix, but it's a bad mix in excess.
Yeah. But it's also, too, it's kind of hard with some of this drama, too, because it exists in these little channels.
Yep.
And unless someone's doing a video summing it all up, I don't know what's going on. And then you got to start digging. You got to be like an archaeologist, Yeah. To
and
find the
kind of half hear it.
Yeah. I'll just see, I just saw, I was on scrolling Twitter one day as Gary's going at your boy Zach. Not even going at, just saying something kind of sharp about him, at him. I'm like, what the fuck? They don't like each other now? I'm like, yeah. It's wild. Like, that whole thing, like with the Steel Toe morning show, like that just, shit! I just bumped the hell out of my desk. That like wigged me out. I was like, what the hell?
That's wild.
It was crazy. Yeah, man, this whole internet shit is I guess it gets a little wild.
Yeah, I would. You know what, man? I would never bring a woman into the internet shit if I could help it.
I would never want to do a podcast with my girlfriend.
Absolutely not. No,
That's an insane thing. By the way, I don't have a girlfriend. We did break up, but these things happen.
Yeah.
But like, that's crazy.
That seems frightening.
Yeah, and then like if then like your relationship drama is now for public consumption.
Yeah,
which is
that's
literally
the worst part.
The last thing I would ever want.
And then, like, what if your podcast is successful and now that's your job, and now your job is dependent on your relationship?
Yeah,
that's a fucking nightmare.
That seems crazy to me. Like seems like the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no way. No thanks. No. Yeah, but yeah. So do you just have you just pulled back from someone like Rippa, or do you kind of feel like maybe you have a different perspective on him now?
Well, I'm pulled back from not just Rippa, the whole everybody. And I said, nobody has treated me anything other than great. I always say that. With the Rippa, because was it Forbidden Ruin? He kind of, in the same way you don't understand that. If people didn't tell me what was going on, I wouldn't know. But Forbidden Ruin showed me the Saska sisters. You ever see those? The Saska sisters?
No.
They're writing one of his comics. And we were just talking about Diddy parties at the beginning of this. They have some very weird, demonic, weird torture, porn content that they've done and directed. I'm like, I don't know what's more. And some very suspect ass tweets. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole with them.
They work for Rippa? They're writing for Rippa?
They're writing, at least they were last time. I don't know if the latest drama, who knows, maybe they aren't. But last time I checked, they were writing for him, and it was some real weird shit. Huh. And I on a stream once, because Forbidden Room was telling me the shit, and I was looking it up to verify it, and it was some weird. They had a movie where they had a girl that had like issues after, and they were making her vomit and all this weird. Just I don't understand it. Weird shit. I don't know if it's supposed to be artsy goth type shit, but it was just weird. So they were into some weird shit.
New Bomb says they were doing horror movies for a long while. Most of their older posts are from that time frame.
Yeah, but even there was one trailer that was only a couple years old. So a lot of it is from that, like from like 5, 10 longer years ago. But then we looked up something. And I wish Forbidden Ruin was here. He had the whole game. We had found the video that was a trailer for a movie they had directed, and they had this guy like hung up or torched, like it's some BDSM, intense porn and murder shit. Like what the fuck? They seem demonic. That's the energy I get. I know horror is its own thing, and some of that comes with it, but they seem demonic and weird. And Rippa did defend them when some of this stuff came out, and it's like instead of just saying, "Hey man, they did what they did," I'm just writing. He kind of made it seem like they were like, oh, well, they're really moral and they're this, that, and the third. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess without seeing it myself, I couldn't really say one way or the other. Because I know horror is like, it's horror.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark stuff in that genre. That's why I'm not like a huge fan of it, really. It kind of makes me uneasy. I don't love it. I don't like feeling that way. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd have to see how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
Like artists, I would hate for anyone to hold my past art against my current art.
That is a good counterpoint. I think about that stuff. But yeah, Marina Abramovic off Temu. That's a good thing.
That's funny. Trying to emulate who Marina Abramovic is.
You don't know? You ever see her? She's another conspiracy person. She like hangs out with a lot of these celebrities like Lady Gaga and Jay-Z. And she does weird witchcraft parties and shit.
Yeah. Like remember what we covered it like last year with Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah,
man,
drinking each other's blood or some
blood
shit.
Rituals and shit. You're like,
yeah, what the
weird. Fuck? You guys are bizarre. Yeah, it's interesting. Like it's also kind of like it's kind of the same thing that happened like when I tapped out with like Lord of the Rings, with the Rings of Power. It's like I guess I still consume some of that content. I just don't feel like I need it anymore because it kind of fried me.
Oh God, yeah.
And I didn't like being like that. And it's also just, I don't know, like I can't really, I guess criticizing it has its place and stuff. For me,
Mhm.
I just kind of would rather focus on like creating something or
Yeah.
just consuming things I actually enjoy. You know, like what Nick's doing right now, like Toxic Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know?
It's fucking awesome. Look at that show's built up over the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
To show that everyone waits for it each week. It's like a huge show.
Yeah. And for me, I just kind of like, I don't know, when it gets too, I don't want to say repetitive, but it's just kind of like it's that same energy. And I'm just like, I don't know, this isn't really serving
How long
me
can I
anymore.
be mad at
you know?
Disney? Before
Yeah,
I move
like
on in my life.
like I watched Mahler's about half of his review about the alien Romulus thing. And then I was just like, yeah, okay, I get it. It's bad.
Yeah, I like
You know?
Alien Romulus, but I had no hope for it. No, I'm like, oh, it stood up and was an hour and a half of content. There you go. Didn't expect that. Thought it was,
Yeah,
but no, it
I
wasn't
mean,
that great. It was watchable.
it's just like I don't know. Like I used to really consume it. Like I used to listen
too.
to those Mahler, you know, like reviews, like those detailed bit point by point. I used to listen to the whole thing. It's like 10 hours for one movie,
Yeah,
and I loved every second of it. You know, I thought it was fascinating. I guess maybe I'm just in a different place now. I just don't really consume it as much.
just don't care, and I can't care. I can't possibly care, and that's a huge part of me. I feel very similar, and it's funny you mentioned Mahler. I just did a Joker video recently. The reason I didn't do a Joker review 2 or 3 years ago is because I watched some of those Mahler reviews and realized, like, oh my God, these are so well done and so detailed.
Yeah, so
And it ended up
meticulous.
derailing my own review of the movie to like 2 years later or whatever. And that's half-assed review that I just tossed out because everyone talked about Joker 2. So I'm like, oh, Joker 1 wasn't that great. It was great.
Oh,
but it
so
was,
you did it? Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah, you never really liked the original.
yeah, I had issues with it as a quote unquote Batman film. And I thought that even though it was very well acted, there's no denying Joaquin's performance, and very well shot, the setting and all the other, you know, technical stuff. And I like cinematography, but it just was like, man, one, and I'm rehashing that review. Please check it out on my channel, please. They try to make him out to be a sympathetic character, and when you really look at it, he's really not. There's also the fact that it is kind of a ripoff. I never saw Kings of Comedy, but it definitely rips off in a lot of ways Taxi Driver, or is trying to be this generation's Taxi Driver. And
Oh, I mean, it's one for one in certain places. And same thing with King of Comedy. I mean, it's almost follows the same plot, really.
yeah,
I mean, it's basically about a deranged wannabe comedian who kind of like obsessively pursues this late night television host and then goes a little nuts at the end. I mean, it's like almost beat for beat, except he doesn't kill him.
Yeah, Newbound, you could have put Joker and it wouldn't have mattered. I think it would have made it a better film and given him a little bit more freedom instead of trying to like horse fit this into a. Oh, thank you. Yeah, please sub. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs so I can actually fully monetize.
Let's go.
Finally.
I
But
think,
yeah, that Joker brand recognition is such a deal. So that was the big deal, and that's why it was such a big movie. But it probably been better if you didn't. Like, this is the guy who fights Batman. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, I think like the more. Oh yeah, it's like on your page. It's overrated. Yeah, nice, good work.
Yeah.
I think like with the more time removed, I think it's. I still like the movie a lot. I still think it's awesome. But I think the more time removed, it becomes clearer and clearer that it really was a repackaged script with like a Joker paint job.
Yep.
You know, was never really intended to be a Joker story. Even though I thought it was cool. And I think one of the things that's interesting about Joker as a character is his sort of ambiguous background. And so you can just write all these different origin stories, or you can kind of create these different things. So, but the thing is,
I agree.
we're in such a weird place, which is like, this is a perfect segue, where you kind of have to sort of, you know, give everything a superhero paint job if you want it to sell for some reason, which brings me to, have you watched Penguin?
I finally have. I got a few more minutes left in the first episode, but I finally got through a good portion of it, and it's actually pretty good.
Isn't it really good?
Yeah, it's way better than it had. Even after your review and you being positive, I'm like, it's probably not that good. This is very competent. This is like incredibly competent. Just how everything gets set up, no spoilers, whatever. It's like, oh man, you can see how this whole season might play out, but I just feel like everything is getting set up so well in the first episode. And you're like, man, I can't wait to see how this works, how this plays out.
I agree, and I think that that's what was so refreshing. But to be completely transparent, it does feel a little bit like, okay, we can't just do a crime drama. We have to tie it in with a marketable brand. So let's just take all this brilliant effort that we have and just kind of like push it through this door. And so far, even with the most recent episode, I still think that that's okay. I still feel like it exists like respectfully, you know, but I do feel like there's kind of a nagging feeling in me that just feels like they didn't really want to do a Penguin show.
Yeah.
They kind of had to.
Yeah. That's an issue with Hollywood as a whole. And I don't like it. Listen, I grew up loving superheroes, Vigilante. I got a fucking mask. I got a, you know what I mean? I obviously have like a superhero sort of gimmick.
Yeah.
But that can't be the only form of media that everything has to get filtered through forever just because Hollywood is scared of taking a chance on anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think they are doing a really good job with the actual like source material. Like it still doesn't feel like I still feel like we should be knowing what's going on with Batman.
Yeah, that's
Somewhere.
probably it. Yeah.
I feel like that's legitimate. I mean, he's a Batman villain. But
yeah.
They did a really good job, especially in the very beginning, where they tie it into the end of that Batman movie and then like seamlessly go right into this, which I was like, that's very respectful. And I won't spoil it, but a few episodes in, I think maybe 3 or 4, they use like the Riddler's like, you know, successful terrorist attack as a very important plot point. And really affects one of the characters with sort of like PTSD from like the attack. And it was really well done. And really enriches like the world, but also makes like the Batman movie kind of in retrospect, like it elevates it, you know? Yeah.
That's going to be tough. Similar to that, I was very mixed on that Batman movie.
Me too.
I didn't hate it.
It's not a great movie at all.
Did not love it. And it didn't justify its length. That was the worst part. If it was just get it out, get this done with 2 hours, man.
It's like that Jurassic Park movie where like then like the dinosaurs like loose in like San Diego. You're like, the movie's over. What is this? You know?
Yeah, this is like the second or third one. It's like you think it's over. Oh no, we gotta put the dinosaur in the city. It's over. Okay.
Yeah. Manolo says Penguin is Soprano level HBO. Great stuff. It's a great return to TV long form storytelling. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is my favorite thing that is out right now. I watch every episode day it comes out. I love it. I'm like really into it. There is something that happens, and I don't want to spoil it because it was like last week. I was tweeting about it a little bit. Makes me like a little, you know, because it's like, remember, we are still dealing with Hollywood. Right, you know, we're not going to forget the past 8 years. You know, they didn't just suddenly correct this shit.
It's going to be woke.
I'm not saying it's going to be woke. It's just I kept it in my mind a little bit, and then there was something that happened, and I'm like, in a weaker show, this would be a problem, or could potentially be a problem, only because it was the way it was framed. And the kind of belief we had prior to this episode sort of got undercut, and it's kind of just sort of, where are you going with this? You know, it's just like, that's where I'm like, I'm a little less like all in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With like, you know, because it's like,
slows you down a little.
Even when things aren't ruined by woke, I mean, you know, still the Game of Thrones sucked, just fell apart. It was a terrible show, and I don't know how much intersectionality so it had to do with that.
Good point. There's that incompetence. You know, wokeness was always, in many ways, a symptom of incompetence.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we don't know what we're doing.
Man of War. What's up, brother?
Put a chicken and make her gay and lame. Hey, Man of War.
Good to see you, man. Haven't seen you in a while.
Good point.
Hope you're doing well, brother.
Risk aversion has crippled entertainment.
100%.
It's made them, and that's why, you know, as much as I love comic book material, I don't want them to stop making it, but it can't be everything.
Which I don't understand.
Exists.
Because, you know, you should be taking risks, because it's like, what was like the biggest show of like last year? It was that fucking Squid Games show.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
A show in Korean about like a what's that? Oh God, what was that movie? Oh, the original one that this was
The
all
Hunger
kind of
Games.
But the one before that, the Japanese one. Someone in the chat will know. But it's basically like the same idea where it was like they're all kind of being killed for like the pleasure of, the game show or whatever. But it's just kind of like that's not the type of show you think is going to be an international phenomenon. And then it was, So it's just kind of like, how could you predict that? You couldn't predict, especially a foreign show. But it's one of the biggest shows that ever come out on Netflix. So
Battle Royale, is that it?
Battle Royale, that's it. Yes, thank you, Fizz Jozo.
Fizz always does that. And we were just talking about Penguin. I saw the first episode, or most of it.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, like I think good things will find their audience, especially if they're done well.
Cream rises to the top.
You'd like to believe that
to some extent.
Yeah.
Sometimes things do get held back. And it's funny. I think foreign material, K-dramas are now like a massive thing.
Yeah.
It's like a massive thing. And manga and anime, has dominated materials. Like a lot of part of it is a lot of content is coming from other places.
Yeah.
To kind of push.
Well, I watched that. What's the One Piece show?
Yeah.
The live action?
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I adored every second of screen time in that show. I thought it was a fun, wild, awesome ride. I had a blast watching that show.
A lot of people like it. I know One Piece has a reputation for having like 1 trillion episodes. That scared me off.
I'm not getting into that anime. That's crazy. Literally like 1,000 episodes or something. I'm like, nah.
That's too much.
And I don't like the
Manolo.
anime.
There is a change in storytelling. I think good storytelling and good entertainment is starting to come. Is it coming back as a whole? No. There's still a lot of incompetence. There's a lot of scariness from the execs, but like it does exist.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about this Penguin show outside of like circles you'd expect to hear people talking about it. Yeah, like I showed it to my ex-girlfriend. I was like, hey, by the way, it's a great show. And she's like, you're right. That was incredible. And she's not a nerd like us.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, she's probably never even seen Aliens,
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like it's popping up. Like I was watching Mark Norman's podcast. They Might Be Drunk, and there was a girl on there, and she was talking about how much she loved it. And it's like it's a wide reaching thing. So I think, if you could show that this is a genuinely well written, excellent show, maybe they'll return to form and start making good stuff again. I would love that.
Yeah, I think everybody would. I think too much money has been lost. And I know gaming companies are not going through their phase because it's just the way the cycle is, but just too much money has been lost at this catering to woke audiences. And I know that we've only said that 1 trillion times to the point of being bored.
Wait, hold on. Say that again. What was that?
Yeah. Apparently you lose money if you care to woke audience. One may say, go woke, go broke. This is a fascinating, brand new take that no one's ever had before.
Oh my God! I really just want it all to be over so I can stop hearing that.
Oh God! It feels good to not have to deal with that all the time. That I can understand how people crash out when you are like forced to talk about a subject that you don't really care about anymore.
Yeah,
but like that's what you have to do. You either rebel against it or numb yourself. Like you do in any job, right? And you're just like, well, this is the job, and I'm just gonna go through the process and go through the motions. And you know what? That's probably what I wanted to say. Going back to a lot of fandom, I feel like I'm supposed to be mad at this, so I'm gonna talk about this. And this is it's just that you become an NPC yourself you're like a slave to looking for something you dislike and having to talk about it. It's like, no, I don't want to do it.
And things are so bad. It's like, so I was listening to Open Bar, Critical Drinkers show, and they were talking about Rings of Power and Agatha All Along, and it's like, do those even need to be covered?
Right?
Like I know that they have to do it. They have like an audience obligation. Like if Critical Drinkers not talking about that, you'd be like, why? Like I'm subscribed to you to hear you talk about that. But does anyone need to have like the insight that those are shitty shows? Like.
Yeah.
I forgot about WandaVision, and then I definitely forgot about the witch woman running it all. And then I was like, Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Like I had to really dig deep
Right.
to remember what even that's about.
Yeah. There were a lot of shows. You remember that fucking, oh, I used to reference it. Robin Hood. There was like a Canadian Robin Hood.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. There's a Canadian Robin Hood that exists like 2 or 3 years ago. And a lot of people were talking about, maybe it was last year. A lot of motherfuckers were talking about that.
Oh,
I'm like, why are you platform? And then the
Robin,
director,
it was just
I
called
think
like
he didn't
Robin.
go on Critical Drinkers stream once or something like that, or somebody streamed.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
why are you guys? Are you a part of a marketing team? I would never know this shit existed if you
Yeah,
weren't
it's called
complaining about it.
Robin with a Y, right? And
Yes.
It was about a chick.
And she was like a fat woman of color. or
It's
chubby.
funny, like that was one of the one concept that I was actually thought that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because like Robin Hood's like a myth.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the kind of thing that's like a property of like, recent nostalgia. It's something that's
Yeah.
been around for hundreds of years. It's like if you want to redo Hamlet, like go ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
Romeo and
doesn't
Juliet in the 90s.
do whatever you want, Make them both chicks, make them gay. Who cares? It's like, it's too classic and it's not the kind of thing that can be corrupted.
Yeah.
So like I kind of like the idea of like a black girl, they're going to make it gay obviously, but if you made that idea well, that actually would be kind of tight. I mean,
could make it interesting, right?
what's his name? Omar is kind of a Robin Hood character.
He is a Robin Hood character, and he's gay, but he's not lame. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's not. He's awesome. And so it's like that was kind of that. I'm sure it was trash, but as a concept, it didn't offend me. I was like, that's kind of cool. I'd be interested in seeing that if it's done well. Obviously, it wasn't, but it's not a
The
bad
truth is,
concept.
the concept didn't offend anyone. It's just you have to talk about it.
Yeah,
It exists,
That's
so
it.
you have to talk about it, and that's where it's like, no, I can't do that. That I can't do.
that's the thing that gets kind of like, it's like. It's like I swear, and I'm like, I don't know if it's like kayfabe or if it's like he meant it, but I was listening to like our buddy, who was on our show a few years back, Robert Meyer Burnett, and he's a good guy, but he was talking about having hopes. I think it was for like the Acolyte, and you're like, why? Why are you hopeful? What? How much more evidence do you possibly need that they're not gonna make a good Star Wars show?
Well, you know what? It's just funny. Another show. My brother keeps telling me to watch Andor. He said, "Oh, Andor was good."
I've heard Andor is actually really good.
Yeah,
I've heard
that's
that
exactly
too.
what I thought of One More Little. But yeah, I guess because of maybe an Andor, and I hate to say this because I know the New York sports fans had a tough Sunday with the Mets losing at the same time as the Jets.
We can
throwing
talk
up on
about some
themselves.
sports after this, yeah.
Because I was watching that, and so, but there are people who've been Jets fans forever, Lions fans. That's why, because the Lions are a good team finally after never being a good team my entire life. You want that fandom repaid, and I'm sure a lot of nerds probably aren't sports fans, so this is their. And so, the Cubs just had a bad year. Maybe this year. I used to say this shit. I said this shit
I could
last
see
year
that.
before. I'm like this with Detroit sports teams. I don't even believe. I think sports are rigged. I'm still like this. I'm still fucking like this. This year we're gonna have a good team, and then we have the worst team like of all time.
That's an interesting perspective. I feel like it's a little different because I don't feel like the Jets like intentionally started selling off quarterbacks. You know what I mean? And like. Like drove it into the ground intentionally,
Yeah.
So it feels a little different because it's just kind of like.
I mean, teams do tank though.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, maybe that's a good analogy. Just like this year would be our year. But I just like I can't even fathom imagining anything coming out of Disney is going to be even watchable, let alone good.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
It's so far removed from me. I don't even think about it. You know what I mean? Hearing that Andor was good was like, oh wow, really?
Yeah.
What do you
How
know?
did that happen?
That's surprising.
Deadpool wasn't bad. Did you ever see that? The Deadpool
I didn't
movie?
see the new one. No.
Yeah, it's not a must see.
Yeah.
But it was. I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm hoping it'll land itself on some streaming service I already pay for.
Yeah.
I'll get around to it. I like the Deadpool movies. I really do. I think Deadpool 1 and 2 are a lot of fun.
Yeah. This was pretty fun. I kind of prefer 1 and 2, but this is probably funner if you're an MCU fan because of all the tie-ins and all the cool stuff.
Yeah, the cameos. I heard it's all about the cameos. A lot of cool sounding cameos.
Yeah, it was a
I
lot
like
of cool
seeing
stuff.
Gambit. That's cool.
Yeah, was he? What did he say? Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here. I'm waiting for this. You don't know the quote. See, that was a meme, and I was like spamming it.
That's cool.
That's
cool.
Because that's part of the joke is how bad his accent is, and it's like really he hams it up
so
off the page. But
there was a character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that had that accent. He was like an alligator.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? He was like a villain. He had like a Louisiana accent as well, and it was like really campy and over the top.
Yeah.
Let's go into the chat a little bit. I want to see what people have been saying.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get into the sports in a minute.
Yeah, in 10 years you'll have Jordan Love. It'll be fine.
I didn't care they used a black girl for Juliet, but they could have picked a pretty one. Are you talking about that stage play?
Oh no, I wasn't. When I said Romeo and Juliet, I
not
meant
you.
Oh.
No, I mean I'm asking like Papa because I think I know what he's talking about, and that almost felt mean.
That did feel mean, bro.
It almost, it was almost
wasn't it like her and like I don't know if it was Tom Holland. And I was like, oh man, that y'all did that on purpose.
That girl's gonna get roasted, man. That's fucking.
There are a million beautiful. There's billion. However, I don't know.
Come on now, that's the most pretty girl you could find.
You absolutely could have found a prettier black girl.
That's mean. That girl's gonna get fucking roasted.
That's where you know what? Oh, you know what? You had a segment, and I don't even remember it. It was I think it was off the act like one of the girls complaining, and it's like I understand the internet a little bit more, and I'm coming to terms with it. Absolutely, I don't know. I think she complained about racist tweets. She absolutely got racist tweets. She got 100,000 tweets because it's the internet, and everyone's crazy, and everyone's just trying to say funny shit and piss you off or troll you.
And now Twitter is wildly racist.
Is it?
Twitter is nuts. You're not on Twitter at all?
No, I don't have I have an Instagram. Even Instagram can get wild, man.
I see memes on there. I'm like, whoa, come on now.
Bro, I just saw a meme.
Whew.
I posted it because again, shout out to Retro Richard. He's not watching, but I am now like the uncle who sends a bunch of memes to him because that's what he was doing. I finally figured out how. There's a meme of this. I think it's a black college, and they're celebrating. I think graduation, and the women have some weight on them. There's quite a few weights, and again, this is a black and so college, and they're celebrating, doing some weird ghetto thing, and then in the comments, like. I shouldn't laugh at this. I don't want to miss my black car. It's fucked up. I'm not saying this is cool, but I laugh. Oh man, it's like they had like I just gotta say it. They had like monkeys on stretchers and shit like that, like they were medical. I'm like, oh my god,
that was in the comments.
That was in the comments, like a meme of this. I'm like, whoa, it is
wild,
crazy,
man.
The internet's
like, y'all better hope Trump wins. There's gonna be some backlash on you guys.
Yeah,
they're out there. Like it's crazy, and it's like just and like anti-Jewish.
Oh boy,
ooh, that
they
shit
are getting smoked right now.
That is just out there now. It's just like, god damn, guys, like it's a lot. Like. I used to see, and some of these memes aren't really new to me. Like I've seen them, Like I spend a lot of time on 9gag, but I think like that's where they should live.
Yeah,
in the shadows. It shouldn't be front and center for the whole world to consume that. Like that's not.
These aren't mainstream takes and memes, but they're getting mainstream type play, and that's like whoa.
Yes. I think
like this is for 4chan and like you said 9gag.
And that's where it should live, where no one will ever see it except
Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my grandma has an Instagram. You know what I mean? Like
and like Twitter's supposed to be like the town square of like the world.
Yeah,
and like, whew, we really are hearing from everyone now.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I did want to segue because I had this thought and it related into what you were talking about. But real quick, New Bomb says the Jets' problem is in ownership. Yeah, agreed. Top down obviously you can't keep making these mistakes year in and year out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, we're gonna do quarterback. We'll get this 45-year-old guy. And how do you bring two different Packers has been in one lifetime? Yeah, good point. Yeah, we really did.
Let's get 10 years. You'll have Jordan Love when he's washed up.
Well, so what I was thinking is just kind of like, so I went out to the bar and I watched, and it was like there's a Jets group that meets up in Austin, a bunch of Jets fans from back east. Yeah, it's kind of cool, That's like dudes from Jersey and New York and Connecticut or whatever, and just meet and hang out and talk about it. And there are obviously a lot of overlap with Mets fans. So I go out, and I'm buying beers, buying food. Not much, like $50 worth or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm, out there, and I'm watching the Mets lose. I'm watching the Jets lose, and I'm like miserable about it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why am I doing this? Like, why do I keep putting myself through this? It's like, it makes me unhappy. It's like, it's just disappointment every single year.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the point? Like, what do I get out of this anymore? Like, I don't even know. It's just like, it's like hope, and then the hopes are dashed, and it's like that every single year. And it's like, why am I still? Do I need to do this? Is there something I need to get out of this? Just farming disappointment.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought that phrase. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, I actually went to a Tigers game in Houston because I saw them knock out the Astros, which was cool, pretty cool, and so. I couldn't explain. I was a major sports fan my entire life. Some of this is just ingrained habit. Like I've just been doing it, so I just keep doing it because on some level I all know. And I agree with Cincinnati. He talks about relegation. I think which I don't know if you know in soccer, there's tiered leagues. So if you're bad, you go down a league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they
Not
wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it here because no one wants to be a B League team, but I absolutely think they should.
There's only 32 teams. I mean,
you can split it in half, A League, B League, 16. Maybe they could all face each other, but you can only be, if you're too bad, you go into B League, and then you're too good, you go to the A League, you go up and down depending on.
It's not a terrible idea, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it just kind of makes sense because it's like, it's just so embarrassing and disappointing, and I'm like, like last year I went and saw the Jets play the Cowboys, right? And it's like I drove up there. It's not a short drive. It's like 3 hours, and Dallas, the stadium, it's even further. I got a hotel, got dinner with my lady at the time. We got a bunch of drinks and stuff at the stadium. We spent like a lot of money. The tickets weren't cheap.
Yeah.
And I went all there just to what? So that the Dallas fans could talk shit to me as I'm walking out? Why am I doing this? What am I getting out of this? Was that fun? It's like, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it's like, was it more fun than just staying home and watching the game at a bar? Like, no.
Yeah. Like I said, I had fun, and then I got there's a Lions game. Lions in Houston are coming up in a few weeks, and I'm going to that. So that was my second little sports thing, and it was. I had fun. They are expensive. Oh, the baseball game wasn't that expensive.
No,
football game is fucking it was only like
crazy.
God, it was like it's a couple $100 to be in the fucking bleeders.
Yeah, and like Jerry World is like 100,000 seats or whatever, and it was still a few $100 a ticket, and we were up there.
Yeah, man.
Drinks weren't cheap.
Yeah, nothing's cheap, and then getting out of there is a goddamn nightmare.
Yeah. Well, like Newbom's saying, like, be a fair weather fan. I honestly feel like that's the smartest way to do it.
Yeah. I would
watch sports like a girl.
Fan,
honestly, like, watch sports like a girl. Get excited when everyone else is getting excited. Go in there for, like, the big victory and then don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly
I have fair weathered a bit as a fan. I still fall like I'm still following the Pistons. They're not gonna,
I'm a Mets and Jets fan. What am I I'm supposed to be miserable every year for, like, the bulk of the year?
I don't know.
Why?
Well, listen, the Mets had a good year. They were in the playoffs.
Yeah, they made it to
I
the
was
NLCS,
hoping for a Subway Series.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't happen. So I mean, listen, you Mets have definitely had worse years than this. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
And it's just it comes and goes. I've never had the Lions. Lions are like the best team in the NFC. This has never been the case as long as I've been alive. Maybe I guess 1 year when I was like 3 when Barry Sanders was still playing.
Sanders,
okay, it was like 93. So it counts. But
You guys have had it rough.
Yeah, we
To
went
be
0-16.
completely fair, you guys have had it as yeah. There's probably few professional teams that have had it as bad as the Lions.
Yeah, but now they're up. So that's you're gambling with your spirit. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, well put.
You're waiting on it to finally hit. Maybe this year it'll finally hit.
Maybe this year I'll finally get some confidence and self-esteem. You know, I feel
exactly.
good about myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anymore. I just feel like I don't really want to do that to myself anymore. It just takes it out of me. I get so down about it, you know. I'm just like, fuck. It's like I lost, you know. It feels like I went and competed and I lost.
Yeah. That's the worst part of the feeling.
Yeah.
And then we're like, man, you know, you're talking. Me and my brother watch it every week. That's cool. And that's part of the reason like it was cool watching my brother and everything. But like we'll be talking and it's like talking out plays. What should they do? Like we have no way to impact the fucking game in any way. And we're still getting emotional of the decisions that are being made.
I would love I think that there should be like a study, especially in towns where like, you know, like New York, where there's like, you know, two squads. Like I would love to do some kind of like objective study of like the confidence and like self-esteem of like Yankees fans versus Mets fans.
Yeah.
Like how much, because I feel like that does affect you, especially when you're a kid.
I'm sure it does.
Because like Yankees fans, they walk around like they hit the home runs.
Yankees fans are some of the most arrogant fans
They're
ever.
So arrogant.
In different fan bases have to, just like the Cowboys. What makes the Cowboy fans infuriating is they're as arrogant as the Yankee fans, but they're not as successful, and they're so not as successful, and they don't realize it. That's why people want them to lose.
They are like, they are like clinically in denial. Cowboys.
Yes, it's pure delusion. It's pure delusion.
Yeah, it's like they still talk about it like, oh no, you know, it's like you watch them, you know, justify. You're like, dude, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
they're like, no, like they can pull out all these stats and all this data. It's like, okay, man, you haven't won a playoff game in 20 years.
Yeah,
you stink.
And now the Lions have won a playoff game more recently to you, man. Like you know, teams are lapping up. The Lions and the team Newmont's referencing the Bills.
Yeah,
have won playoff games more recently to you. Like other franchises are catching up.
Hello, Steph.
Hey,
good to see you. I might be seeing you. I'll be seeing you tomorrow in San Antonio at the meetup. So I didn't know it was a meetup. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, I haven't been to one in a while, so I'm like pumped to go back and mingle, talk to the boys and the girls.
Cool stuff.
Good stuff. So hey, Steph. New Bond. There's only one team that actually plays in New York. The other played two. They always say that. It's like New Jersey is way more New York than Buffalo.
Yeah.
Buffalo's like Canada. It's like where even is that? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like blindly, I don't even know if I can pick it out on a map. I'd be like, I know it's near one of those lakes.
Yeah,
but no.
Like, what,
listen,
Lake Erie?
New Bomb. I'm not just saying this. Is there a more insignificant city?
Oof.
I don't even know what the hell Buffalo.
Not to Griselda.
The Wings.
Yeah, I mean the Wings have made a cultural impact. Everyone eats Buffalo.
Yeah, and they're good. And I love Buffalo wings. I do. Thank you for the wings.
Hot sauce and butter.
You can keep everything else.
Yeah, Griselda. I don't know if you're into independent hip hop, but Griselda's pretty good.
That's so funny. There's a restaurant here in Austin called Griselda.
Oh yeah,
or Grisella, or something like that. Something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know.
It's the turd that hangs off the ass of the rest of the state.
Isn't the is that? Are you saying that that's New York City? I mean, I think he's saying geographically that's how it looks.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you got to tell yourself, man.
But yeah,
I'm no fan of New York City, but
I always thought it was weird that people were Mets and Jets fans, especially Mets. Like I guess the Giants are only slightly more successful than the Jets. Like they're not a great franchise either.
No, but I mean they have recent Super Bowls. They've had 3 wins in my lifetime.
True.
You know?
So
2 against the Patriots, 1 against the undefeated Patriots.
Yeah,
those are some pretty good seasons. You get to live through that. You get to feel all that excitement. It's it's gratifying. You feel good, but it's just if every year. I mean, I'm 40, or I'll be 40 next month or next year. I mean, and it's like I've never had a team that I was rooting for win a championship. I mean, I was rooting for the Lions, because because it's like I have to pick other teams. I can't just.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not the Lions. I mean the Rams. I can't just live and
yeah.
die by a team that 5 weeks into the season they're already out. Like it's like I can't do that. And that was fun, but it's still not my team, and I know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really.
Yeah. But I always thought it was interesting that someone said, I'm going to pick the Mets. The Yankees are the most winningest franchise in the history of sports. I'm picking the Mets.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did not pick them. My dad did. He picked it for me. I had no choice.
I see.
I was born in '85. They won in '86. My dad was a big Mets fan. He was pumped, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I was raised on like Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden and stuff.
Yeah.
And and then it was just nothing. They went in 2000, lost to the Yankees, which is great. That's just the best thing growing up in New Jersey, Italian ass New Jersey, where everyone's fucking Yankees fans.
Yeah.
And then you're a Mets fans, and then, you always suck. You finally get there, not even really a competitive series. And to the Yankees, it's just one more feather in their cap, one more notch in their belt. Like it's not even that big of a deal. It wasn't like they were
winning like every year.
Yeah, it was not even a big deal. It's just
year.
like another one. Easy come, easy go.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
you know what, Newman, you bring up the Nets and the Knicks. I don't think either franchise is that great. I mean, the Knicks haven't won since the
they're not.
70s.
No, this whole myth of New York sports being good, it's really just because the Yankees are good.
It's absolutely just the Yankees.
Yeah, like no one else is really that
Exceptional.
impressive of a franchise.
Next one will probably be the Giants, who I just talked about. And I mean, as much as you just talked about their wins, I mean, they've had a lot of shitty seasons too.
Yeah, no, the Giants suck.
Yeah, and,
Even when they won those Super Bowls, I think it was like 9 and 10 wins respectively.
Yeah, I think you're right. They were like
Not good
back
seasons.
into the playoffs basically.
Yeah, one of them they straight up did back in.
Yeah.
And then they won all those games on the road, which is impressive. So that's an amazing feat on itself. But
weren't they the first team to win all the games in a row and win the Super Bowl? It might have been.
I don't know, maybe, probably. Yeah, it's likely.
Can't have happened that many times.
No, that's crazy. So, like wild card round as well.
Yeah, that's hard enough. Even if you got the home game, you still gonna have to go on the road.
Yeah,
2 games.
And those are some brutal games. I mean, the first time around it was against Brett Favre in the snow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a one of those magic carpet rides, as they say, where it was just like a team that really isn't that good, but just had an amazing playoff run.
Yeah, just had a real hot streak. I mean, they beat the Cowboys in Dallas second week, and I mean, the Cowboys were a juggernaut that season.
Yeah, that was the T.O.
Yeah.
All those other motherfuckers there, too.
Yeah.
Marion Barber,
Romo, and they had that
Romo.
the crazy running backs and Jason Witten and so many good players on defense. Like it was crazy.
DeMarcus Ware? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and I've smoked a lot of weed, so remembering like the 2006 Dallas roster is not going to be, But
but I mean, all those stars were there, and they were. I mean, they had like 13 wins or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 13 or 14 wins.
Yeah, they were great. And then, Giants just beat Favre all the way in. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was a crazy run.
I only got to enjoy that, ancillary. I mean, I was happy, my dad's a Giants fan, I was pumped. They were beating the Patriots. It was exciting, it was really exciting, but it's just not the same.
Not the same because it's not the real
deal.
Yeah.
And and
a lot of people do remember the fumble.
As a kid, I know all those humiliating. I met Mark Sanchez one time. I didn't know what to fucking say.
Yeah,
he found out I was a Jets fan. I didn't even tell him. Like someone else, I was like, "Oh, I'm a Jets fan. That's cool. He's here." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "Oh, who's a Jets fan?" And he came back and it was just like, "Oh, those 2 years were really fun." Like I didn't know what the hell to say. I mean, this guy's kind of an embarrassment.
Yeah, he really was.
He's a league joke.
Yeah, and he really wasn't the reason they got anywhere. I mean, they won very much in spite of him because they had such a great defense.
Yeah, and a really creative defense.
Yeah,
he was. He made plays. It wasn't like he did nothing.
Yeah,
but he was a completely just average, capable quarterback. He was never. And then as it went on, he almost seemed to get much worse.
It did seem like he got worse the more. Mainly the more they put on him because they did I can't remember who the running back was. I felt like they did a lot of running and taking the pressure off the QB, that sort of thing.
Newbaum says it's sad that most people remember the butt fumble more than the last time the Jets won the Super Bowl. That's the last time the Jets won the Super Bowl. We were still in Vietnam.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, fucking
Long time.
50 some odd years ago.
Long time.
People have lived and died in that entire span.
I mean, the whole world is totally different in every conceivable way.
Yeah. It's like LBJ was president.
Yeah. And now
That's like
LBJ.
historic footage, you know? It's like, there's no touchstone that's relevant to right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a damn shame. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to watch sports anymore. I have been playing a lot of video games.
Yeah?
And yes, and I have a bone to pick with a very popular and beloved video game that I played a lot and kept waiting for it to start and then realized this is the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Breath of the Wild.
Ooh. That's
That
not a
game
uncommon criticism.
sucks.
Ooh.
That is the most overhyped video game I've ever played in my entire life.
It's a very polarizing game where people either love it or hate it because
There's nothing to do.
there's the actual core of the gameplay to beat the game. There's really nothing, right? You just have
Nothing.
those divine beasts, and you beat Ganon.
You just
And then
go
the
from like
story's
realm to
vague.
realm and all these fucking shrines. And
Infinite
you got to get
shrines that-
4 of them to level up one of your stats, and then like the inventory management is like the most obnoxious thing with like the durability of the
Break it,
weapons. Oh, it's tedious, and none of the controls are intuitive.
Yeah.
I had to think about every single time, like, what ungodly reason is the rightmost button move forward? Why is it not the bottom button? Every other console on the planet, you know, X, A, whatever that is, that's
Yeah.
move. Not Nintendo, not the Switch.
Gotta
Oh,
be different.
I played that for hours and hours, and I had this feeling where I'm just kind of waiting for it to start, and I realized, oh, this is it.
No, that the game is about exploring, climbing,
But there's nothing to find.
and
Every one of these
fighting
worlds is empty.
goblins of different colors. So,
Yeah.
you know, racial
Pigs,
cleansing.
lizards, and is there any, like, I guess then there's some others, like a wizard guy and some like,
Yeah, the
But I
guardian
mean-
things that shoot lasers at you.
yeah. Oh, those guys. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, I am so happy I'm not playing that game anymore. Like I just decided to stop. I was like, this was awful.
Walking sim, yeah, it kind of is.
100%, dude. 100%. I couldn't believe how bad that game was.
That's been a polarizing game. I played it. I didn't get too far to. I borrowed my brother's Switch. I got bored of it. I definitely didn't. It's not Majora's Mask. Like it's not like keeping my interest to see what happens and mess
No.
around with it. It's just like
I barely even knew what the story was.
I hate the way they tell the story to you finding things. You find his memory, and the story's kind of still stupid. And most of the memories are just like mindless anime humor, I guess. I don't know what else to call it.
And then there's like a quest, an important quest that you don't have to do, but to like piece of thing, you have to take pictures of shit.
Yeah.
What? Why? Why do they include that in video games? Who does that appeal to?
Maybe listen, I'm not a Zoomer. Maybe that does appeal to Zoomers. I don't know. Maybe that's the thought. You know how the kids like the Instagram. You can have like an Instagram when you're game.
Well, there's a video game called Dredge that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
It's a really simple fishing sim. That's it. It's
Okay.
like, you upgrade your boat and there's like monsters and you have to like avoid them. It's a pretty simple game. It's brilliant. It's so addictive. I love it. But then they add this thing where it's like, oh, there's this photographer. Like, take pictures and bring them back. No.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Why would I do that? Taking fake pictures of fake animals? No. Why? What are you talking
I
about?
have no idea. Yeah, Fizz has been wanting me to play New Vegas. I know you're a New Vegas guy. This is a picture quest in New Vegas.
I feel
Are
like
you
you
a
can
Matt
still
Walsh guy?
play it. No. I
Okay.
mean, I was kind of curious about that Am I Racist movie.
I saw that it existed, but I tired of. I have probably more fire for like the Daily Wire and a lot of conservative thought leaders.
Have you heard of this term, the woke right?
I vaguely have, but don't know what it means.
Okay. This is
Actually, I
pretty
think
interesting.
James Lindsay. I think he's the one that I've
Wow.
seen.
James Lindsay.
I heard he's kind of crashed out a little too.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan, or I was. I don't know. His Twitter, like if you look at his Twitter, I mean, he tweets like 600 times a day. It's insane. It's not doesn't appear to me to be the behavior of someone that's got it all together and is healthy. I like his books and I like some of his old stuff, but I feel like he's lost it. But it's this
There's
whole
another guy.
So
Fame consumed him.
I saw him saying that, and I thought he was just trying to say it like as a troll to just kind of like trigger like conservatives or whatever. I didn't really look into it too deeply. But then I was watching, do you know who Dave Smith is?
Sounds familiar.
He's a comedian, like Legion of Skanks, but he's also like a libertarian.
Yeah.
Okay. He's like a very well regarded. Yeah. Smart guy. I like him a lot. Real quick. Low Spec is correct. New Vegas is the best 3D Fallout. And I think it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was trying to play the original Fallout the other day, and I'm like, as much as I love this, it's just, I feels too old. Mm-hmm. Like the UI is too clunky. It's just, it's kind of like a chore. And I've already played it a bunch of times, so I'm just like, nah. But I think New Vegas still holds up as far as the mechanics and the, inventory management and all the things that like the day-to-day of it. I think it's one of my favorite games of all time. I mean, I have a poster, right there. I love, New Vegas. So I do I think it's a great game. I highly recommend it.
I had to check it out.
So anyway, this guy Dave Smith, so he's talking about it. Now, basically what it comes down to is Israel, and the kind of division in, I guess, like the more right-leaning political sphere as to like, do you support them or, do you not, really is what it comes down to. And the pro-Israel conservatives, right-wing guys like, say, Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, to name a few. There's a bunch out there. To Dave's criticism is they're behaving like woke people.
The right has definitely been doing that.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
If you criticize or if you even ask questions, what do you hate, Jews? Yeah. Deflecting, kind of making like, attacking you for racism and stuff like that, and really just behaving the way woke people do. Well, and when it's framed in a certain way, I'm like, you're not wrong.
I would argue, and I think I even made a video, that a lot of the right as a whole, not just this specific, this Israel thing, which is dividing a lot of people across the whole West at this point. Yeah. It's getting more serious as things go. I just don't want more people to die, and I don't want World War III to start. Guy, I don't really have a horse in this race personally. Just leave me out of it. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's interesting because, like, when you talk about, for the right wing, like they're like, how can you be giving all this money to Ukraine? And you're like, yeah. I mean, how can we be doing that? Also, we should be giving more money to Israel. You're like,
yeah, it's intellectually inconsistent.
How can both things be true here?
Good point. Good question.
Yeah.
I think the whole right wing has a little bit of that. I thought that when they attacked Joe Rogan for going with RFK, and around the same time had something to say about Rittenhouse. Who did he like, Rand Paul or Ron Paul? And I had made a joke about I call him Gady Vance. He had the weird gold dust wig, so I made fun of him.
I think Such a Dildo's really pointing out the fact that I'm dancing around this, and I am trying to dance around it. I am trying to be articulate here and not step in it, as it were.
And Cotton is not helping things at all.
What's not?
Cotton Ministries is not helping things at all. He couldn't be helping it less.
That's a lot of the other shit that I'm seeing, like, how can I say this without, YouTube's algorithm picking
Funny
it up?
Mustache Man?
Funny Mustache Man and all the bad stuff that happened, and people are saying it didn't really happen. That's out in force on Twitter.
Yeah, when did that become a thing again?
I don't know.
Like, you would hear about people who thought that, and it was just like some obscure thing. Mm-hmm. But, like, now that's like a real thing. Like, yeah.
There was someone I follow R. Austin on Reddit, and I very rarely go to Reddit, but occasionally, especially for like news, information, blah blah blah. So I saw it, and there was someone, I guess they took a picture of it in Austin, and on the back of their car it said the Holohoax.
Whoa!
And I'm like, yo,
that's crazy work.
Ah, damn. So it's an interesting thing, and I think after listening to Dave Smith talk about it and his kind of framing for like, Jesus, Papa, God damn.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is what I deal with. I'm like, how am I going to keep my channel on the
I'm going
air?
to get demonetized for something you said. Give it when hearing his framing and hearing his arguments and then use the examples he used, I was like, yeah, I think you're onto something there. I think there is something about that. And when I first read that term, the woke right, I was like, what is that? But there's something there. It's like it's a sacred calf.
Yeah.
Can't be touched.
I don't think it's just that. That's where I think that's been a thing. Like I mentioned, the way they NPC attacked everybody who didn't put a MAGA tattoo on their face. And there's just this energy of like, and Newbound has a good point. A lot of people who got tossed into the new right were classic liberals anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone just he says far right Barry Sanders. I wish Bernie Sanders was far right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
there's that meme, right? It's the graph,
mm-hmm.
and it's like authoritarian liberalism, like right wing, and there's like up in the corner, it's like this extreme authoritarian left is like progressive, and then everything in the graph is like alt right.
Yeah.
And
so I think that's part of it, and I think there's something into the political mindset. I think there's a little bit of, and I can say this for both sides, when you're a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. So when you're, someone on the right, everything looks like it's leftist or woke, and that. Another issue is a lot of thought leaders are much more interested in getting you to watch the next video than coming up with a solution. And so now they're focusing it. And this is going back to where I would say I was pretty critical of even the fandom. Is like, let's find different woke things to piss you off. Let's send, let all these 40-year-old men going to argue with 18-year-old girls with blue hair. At a certain point, it's like, okay, man, I get it. She's a socialist. She doesn't know anything, but when Charlie Kirk comes in with his S-curl and starts arguing with these like tweens, and then has like this, I don't know if anyone else seen it, but somehow my algorithm has these like little ads, and this looks like a boxing or a wrestling or a UFC, like Charlie Kirk versus some radical leftist here on. That's what the ad looks like, like what is this?
And it's like, they're dumb college kids. Like, of course they're gonna be dumb.
Yeah.
Would you want your politics to be? Would you like videos of that when you were like 20?
Right.
I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think
exactly.
I would. I'd be a pukey ass lib. You guys would all cringe hard.
Yeah.
And I was very convinced of myself. So look, I think the days of us poning college kids really should be way behind us.
Absolutely.
It was cool when it was novel for a little while. You know, when Steven Crowder was going on campuses and doing it, and Shapiro was debating. Okay, that was neat for a little while. That was like 7 years ago, and that's where it should stay.
10 years ago in some cases.
That's 100% where it should stay. Now, this is an interesting point. Sencha Dildo is saying, but that's not how and why Kissin and Lindsay are trying to make that retarded term stick. I think you are correct about the way James Lindsay is using it. I think... Because I think, so it gets kind of weird, but I was listening to Carl Benjamin Sargon. We've, talked about him before. And he's kind of critiqued basically the concept of classical liberalism as a philosophy. And he takes it all the way back to like John Locke and like the basis foundations of it. And I liked his criticisms. I thought that they were astute. They seemed pretty sharp to me. And I think it kind of like someone like James Lindsay, it's just sort of like, well, it almost seems like you kind of find yourself in this contradiction between like seeing how far out of hand progressivism, liberalism, left-wing ideology has gotten, but then not wanting to like change your stance, right? Not to like admit you're a conservative or, even kind of like entertain that. Mm-hmm. So I think they kind of find themselves at like this nexus of like hypocrisy that they sort of get trapped into. I think that's what's going on with James Lindsay, as near as I can tell. But it's also hard to watch someone that you really like kind of spiral.
Yeah. And honestly, I kind of dealt with it. Fizz, you're a pretty sharp kid, but you're also not in college. But I kind of had to deal with this.
I didn't think I was dumb either. I'm not saying you're dumb. I thought I was.
That's true. No 22. Everyone thinks they're a genius.
I think I'm smart now. Probably not.
Right? I thought I was in my early 20s, I had a lot of confidence issues. In my early 20s, though, I thought I was the greatest rapper of all time, and I just had to like, no, it's me. I can't wait to prove it. I do not think that now. What do you mean? Wood cringe? I think I pulled up twice in the last hour. Fair enough.
Yeah. I agree with that, Sunshine Dodo. I didn't leave the left. The left left me. People annoy me. Yeah. I think you're right. And yeah, he's like, told you, Matt, he can't see past his libtard ways. I agree with that perspective. I think it's just kind of like, it's like that old quote by Winston Churchill. It's like, you know, if you're not liberal when you're young, you've got no heart. And if you're not conservative when you're older, you got no brains.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, that's what it is. It's like you just start to see more things. You've had more time to see policy play out. You've had more time to observe history. You've heard the rhetoric. And it's like, yeah, I've been hearing that same thing for 20 years. You know, it's like, it hasn't changed, you know, so that's bullshit. And it's just like, you got to kind of recognize, I mean, at least for me, it's just, I'm just kind of embracing a little bit, being more of a conservative than I was. You know, it's been like a long journey. And there's still like, that doesn't mean like, oh, I'm now like, oh, put me in this box. I think all the things. It's just, but I just kind of have to admit that to myself, and that's okay.
Yeah.
My political stance shouldn't be my identity.
Man, I've been meaning to make a video on this. There's a lot to unpack there. I know you said you hate that phrase, but it is. So my answer is being political or being overtly political at all is a mistake. And granted, I still probably lean more right, but I'm very critical of a lot of tactics. I do see why they call a lot of right-wing individuals grifters. I feel like it is more about,
100%. And in fact,
anything.
Oh, sorry, I'll let you finish.
But no, it's more about bullshit than getting anything soft. And just using the woke as a means of advertising. Oh, look how radical crazy that is. Please watch my video.
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Like, so I remember when we were doing like the Culture Crime Fighters, there was something you would say a lot about the controlled opposition,
Yeah.
And I always gave that thought, never really like identified anyone necessarily, except for maybe like, someone in the mainstream media, like probably like Fox News or something like that.
Yeah.
But my friend, he's a liberal, and he's just like, why does Charlie Kirk why does he want to get rid of the Civil Rights Act or something like that? And I was like, first of all, I don't know what Charlie Kirk thinks. I'm barely, he's not Nick Fuentes, right? Okay, he's the other, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how
who is he?
Foggy that is in my head, but I think he's the Daily Wire guy, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he's, what's it? It's a different group. It's not Daily Wire.
Daily Wire.
He looks like he has an S curl. And I only know him because for a while, I kept seeing his fucking ads. I don't know why. They just spammed me. My algorithm lined up. I would see one of his ads every day. He looks like he got bullied in high school. I hate to say that.
So like,
maybe
Turning Point USA.
Turning Point. That's the name of these fuckers.
Right.
Because what's her name used to be with that group? Candace Owens.
Oh, Candace Owens. Yeah. Oh, she's on the opposite side of the quote woke right, or at least the way Dave Smith's been using it.
I know she pissed off Shapiro because.
Ooh, did she?
And honestly, I thought that was bullshit. I was one of those, like, she didn't really do anything. Out of all the times to yell at Candace Owens and her fat ass, this was not one of them.
Yeah, no, I was curious about that saga. And then I watched like her show, and by the end, you're just like, oh, you're corny too. God, she's got her own little mug club or whatever. And just like, all right. Like,
she's unwatchable from the front, man.
Yeah. It's like, she has a good take every once in a while, but just like, I could never be like, oh, I'm a Candace Owens guy. That seems insane.
No. Women.
Oh, okay. So my buddy asked me about Charlie Kirk. Why does Charlie Kirk think this? And I was like, I didn't know that he thought that. I have no idea. So I looked it up, and he said something to the effect, and it's like, it wasn't quite that demonizing, but it was basically, I think it's kind of like the same thing like a lot of the left or right wing has been saying, that basically everything changed like in the 60s with like the Cultural Revolution and like, blah, 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 blah. And then I started to think about it, and I was listening to the words Charlie Kirk was saying, and I'm like, I feel like he's the controlled opposition.
Yeah.
I feel like he's making such a bad point that you can point to him as the reason why, like, conservative thought or right-wing people are not necessarily, they're not like their ideas aren't good and they're not innovative or necessary right now, because it's like it's such a stupid thing to say, but it's vaguely in the same realm as things that are in the right wing, but it's so soundbitey and snappy and easy to apply that to everyone, like, you know, as like, oh, that's what they all think. They want to get rid of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't even know what Charlie Kirk. I just see him yell at teenagers and advertise, like I said, these fucking WrestleMania debates with leftists.
Like I said, I know so little about him that I wasn't even sure. Like I said, I thought he worked for Daily Wire. Like that's how little I even know about him. So
a bunch of these fuckers, man. And I don't know his takes. I just keep seeing these ads and like, just please go away. So I didn't even know that was his take. But I used to use the term controlled opposition. I still believe there is, but there's almost the algorithm controlling you into opposition. Like, right? Like, he has a soundbitey style in general. Yeah. When he talks in sound bites. So if he has a good take or bad take, it's gonna be a soundbitey take. So if he has a bad take, like you said, it is. I mean, might indeed be controlled opposition. All the money coming in and some of these stupid ass things. I'm sure
it was definitely something that occurred to me, and it's like, you know, for all their talk about, you know, like the woke and you know, socialism and all that stuff, it's like the second the Israel thing comes up, you see where they're really passionate about, like where their real convictions lie.
Absolutely.
Even Jordan Peterson, it's like there is zero conversation about whether this is the right stance, and it's just like, wow, that's not like you.
What happened to all this free thinking shit you was telling me for the past 5-6 years?
Yeah, like that's a hard line in the sand you just took, like aggressively. Right? At people that weren't even being that crazy.
Yeah. Neocons. Yeah, they showed themselves to be neocons.
A little bit.
And it's like,
it's like, what happened to make America First? Where did that happen? Where did
I was just about to say that. What happened to all the, you know, populism and all the shit that Trump was? I thought it was all, you know, MAGA till we die. MAGA for life and shit.
It's like, if we don't have enough money to spend on Ukraine, well, we definitely don't have enough money to spend on Israel either.
No.
Right? By your very principle.
Yeah. Like you said, America first, unless it's Israel. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
happened?
That's a weird exception to make.
Yeah. Very weird, very specific exception to make. Not that we're saying anything.
No, I'm not taking a stance because I still don't really have a great grip on the situation. I think it's hard to get a really good grip on the situation because there's so much propaganda.
Because you're not going to get a non-slanted view.
There's no way. It doesn't exist. It's like my buddy was telling me, oh, they killed all these Palestinian journalists. I was like, man, that's really fucked up. And then you find out that they're not really even journalists. They're just wearing journalist clothes and they were terrorists and they were just acting like they were journalists. And you're like,
it's like, well, what the fuck?
I mean, damn, what am I supposed to think here? Like, I don't, you know, it's just,
I don't know which one's right.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think I have to have a take.
Right? Don't I got a whole fucking life to live, motherfucker.
Yeah.
The fuck? I got work to do. I'm not like working and think, oh man, what's going on? And no, I got to get shit done and do life and all this other shit.
100%, Papa.
Yes, man.
That's how I feel. I feel like once we can, like, if we can look at our country and be like, we are in a great place. We've got our debt under control. You know what I mean? We got thriving economy. We can actually give aid to like those hurricane victims and stuff like that. We can actually help with stuff like that. Then we can start to talk about giving foreign aid. But until then, I just feel like, nah, fuck that. The well's closed.
Yeah, man. Shit. There's like, I mean, I don't know how it is in Austin, but there's even, you know, I'm not even technically in Houston, but there's homeless people like fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
And just like,
we have a lot of real problems.
You buy groceries recently?
Yeah.
You know
unfortunately.
I mean? Like, God damn.
Sometimes.
Dude. It's crazy. It's like I'm almost like avoiding it.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
I buy like a sandwich. I'm like, how much?
Jesus.
$18?
Golly.
What are you talking about? It's a sandwich.
Yeah, everything's least. If you go out to eat, at least $20 now.
It's wild, brother. It's wild.
Yeah, we didn't stop being the world police. It was a funny movie, but
I know
we can't really do it.
Yeah, it is funny too. It is really funny. Like it's so weird too. Like I was watching Dave Smith's show. Like it's called Part of the Problem, and they had like it was the debates for the Senate seat in Texas, and it was Ted Cruz and the left wing guy who's like his opposition or whatever.
Yeah.
And so someone says something to Ted Cruz about something about Israel.
Mhm.
And then he goes, "Oh, that is horseshit. I am so pro-Israel. I am always been pro-Israel. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, blah, 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 blah." This guy isn't any of that. And the left-wing guy is like, "Duh, no, I'm super pro-Israel. I am the most pro-Israel." I was just like, why are there two Texas senators arguing about who's more Israel?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with this country? Or at least,
Yeah.
more importantly, this state that you're running to be the senator of?
Yeah, I think the guy was Colin Allred.
That sounds right.
Guy. I saw a sign. I was like, yeah, I see signs because I try to walk and shit. So I walk around the neighborhood. I saw a
Good.
sign. I saw the sign. No, that's
That was creepy.
it is creepy, man. I hate being right. I said, oh man, both sides. A lot of people get mad that my both sides take, but it's a fucking valid take when both sides are fucking like doing shit like that. When
I
both
think it's
sides
a
are,
good take to, as long as you mean it.
yeah,
Like, I think some people use that as refuge. Like,
Yeah.
I mostly like Reformed Democrats who don't want to admit that like they're getting a little more conservative and that their party is really crazy and like they're kind of leaning more right. They want to
Yeah.
be like, oh, both sides are fucked up. It's like,
an excuse, yeah, to save
It's a
face with the
cop-out.
left. Well, yeah, but the right.
right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I get that. I do get that. I don't want to be a whataboutism, but when you look at both sides, it's like there are flaws on both sides.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not even. I agree that a lot of cultural craziness of the left is a lot, the gender thing and all this other bullshit. But also, do we always have to focus on that shit? Nobody talks about no one uses the word woke. No one talks about gender and race anymore, or at this point, more than the fucking conservatives. Always, it's like they dance to the beat of whatever the left tells them to do, instead of like establishing the things that should be inherently important to them. Because you know what? Another
I think
thing,
actually a more precise thing would be that
Go
they're
ahead.
behind.
yeah,
Right? Like they should have stopped this shit years ago.
yes, they should have.
And that's why they talk about it so much, because it's like it's already like institutionalized.
Yeah, it's already too late.
Yeah. Like not like necessarily, but it's just it's already in, it's dug in. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, now they're talking about it quite a bit, and it does seem like kind of excessively, but that's because like they're late to the party.
True.
It's like they showed up at the party and everyone's trans and like, what the hell's this?
Yeah,
They weren't
Yeah.
paying attention.
yeah. That there is a lot of sleep at the wheel, and I mean, Jesus, man, I keep thinking about how the conservatives, because I don't know. I think Man of War said WrestleMania in 2 weeks, talking about the election. I don't know how you think it's going to go.
I'm cautiously optimistic that Trump will win.
I feel like the fix is in.
But that's obviously there's that concern,
That's my
right?
biggest
The
thing. And
fortification.
yeah, the fact that was never that actually, even though I'm not I wouldn't consider myself a Republican. I would say I lean right, maybe libertarian. The more I think about it, like that was a major drop ball the past 4 years, not like hammering that home from the conservative.
They made it
standpoint.
really dangerous to do that. I mean,
They
what's his
did.
name had $1 billion lawsuit. Tucker got fired.
Yeah,
Questioning that
That's
election
true.
was dangerous.
that's true. But like, if not questioning it, making sure doing what you can to not. A lot
Well, I
of this
think-
shit's dangerous, man. What the fuck are you
Yeah.
gonna do? You're not gonna focus on the. What do
But
you
I mean,
want to
$1
happen?
billion. I mean, he $1 billion is how much Rudy Giuliani got sued for and lost.
What did he say to get sued for?
He accused Dominion of tampering, like with the election. They're the
Well,
people who run the
there's-
voting machines.
There's one thing to accuse Dominion, and I've made my jokes at him, and I get that the higher up you are, the more tax you should use, but there had to have been a middle ground, and at least one should have been searched. If you're to take, why would I vote? I think that's going to be another issue.
Well, I think my hopefulness about this is it's so out in the open, it's so widespread, it's so not a controversial thing to even talk about anymore
Yeah,
that it's like I feel like the microscopes are going to be so out there. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe.
people are going to be fine-tooth combing this shit, and you can't. There's no mail-in ballots this time, not the way there were last time. You know, we're all at home, blah blah blah. I don't know. I'm just from what I'm feeling. I don't know what I'm talking about, so
Yeah.
obviously. But for what I'm feeling, like what I'm seeing, like with the Trump McDonald thing, right?
Yeah.
Trump's doing Rogan. Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
That broke today. Trump's doing Rogan in a few days on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably see some clips of that.
Oh yeah, I'll probably. I mean, I don't know how much of it I can watch. So that's the thing too. Like, I mean, I'm not like I'm a Trump guy. Like, I want him to win, but I'm not like sitting there watching 2 hours of him talk.
Yeah, I can't.
It's not that interesting. But so he's doing Rogan, huge. He's like the McDonald's thing. Like he's like coming in like that was such great PR. I just feel like and Kamala had that terrible interview on Fox. Mm-hmm. And like I feel like people were hyped on her to begin with, and then now she's more exposed. She sounds like an idiot. Obama's out there basically calling black men sexist for not voting for her.
That has backfired something fierce.
Yeah, I really think there's a lot of people. I see there's like a 365 Austin account I follow that's like events and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And anytime there's it's just that all the comments are filled Trump, 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 Trump. It has never used to be like that. I feel like it's way more acceptable to be a Trump supporter in public, even
Absolutely.
in progressive areas. So I don't know. I'm pretty optimistic. I don't think it matters who I vote for because I live in Texas. It's going to Trump.
Yeah.
But I think, I don't know, the way it looks, if it's a fair and free election, I think Trump takes it.
I don't necessarily disagree with the take, but that big if. That's my thing. I don't necessarily think it is. And one of the things I say the conservatives failed to some extent, and not as bad as they probably did last time, but there's no. Let me not quite. This is your platform. Let me be. We just talked about it. There's a lot of people who question such a turnout for such a boring candidate in Joe Biden. We'll say that.
There's the first and second most voted for candidates in history.
Yeah, and that's
interesting.
Very interesting. And then of course the series of events on election night were very interesting.
Ooh, the thing is, there was no Twitter.
Yeah, that's true.
Now there's Twitter.
That is true.
There's no hiding the Hunter Biden laptop. There's no suppression of criticism or anything like that. Granted, Twitter kind of has become its own echo chamber now.
Yeah.
But it still exists, and it's still got millions and millions of users. And if they try to pull like okey dokes and fast ones, I mean, they better just let him win, man, because there might be like a fucking war.
I don't buy that. I've heard that. I'm saying that, I hear that, and oh man, if he doesn't win, I don't buy that. Because it doesn't happen last time. That's why I don't buy it. Some people might get mad. But hey, there's a lot of people on, especially you talk about media and on both sides who want the other side to win. There's definitely right-wing people who want Kamala to win, so they got something to complain about.
Oh, so they got some money. Yeah.
Fucking CNN is begging for they need Trump like a mother, like a baby calf needs his mother. Like
no kidding. Yeah, they really do. Yeah, they're like it's like a Dust Bowl farmer.
Yes.
They're just praying for rain, praying for golden showers.
Yeah, praying for an orange Christmas. Like they absolutely need Trump to win.
Yeah,
to exist as a network.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of valid criticisms about Trump's administration. He talks big about what he did, but I've definitely in recent years listened to some more like critical people of him.
Yeah,
point out some of his foreign policy, some of his spending, some of the stuff that he did that wasn't really great. Yeah. I think this time around though, man, with that cabinet, if you have I just love the team. Mm-hmm. Trump, RFK, Tulsi, Elon. I think that's awesome. It's like the fucking Justice League.
Elon though, man. I don't know, man. He might be Lex Luthor, man.
You think so? You think he's I don't know, man.
Listen, okay, even in a best case scenario, he's Tony Stark. He's working on some tech that once it gets. I mean, you've seen the Optimus Bot, right?
Optimus Bot.
Oh, you haven't seen his fucking robot?
Yeah. I forgot that's what it's called. Yeah, no, yeah.
And I think that's why he bought Twitter. I think he needed that to happen, and his what the fucking SpaceX thing didn't it land?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a coincidence that you hear about this robot, and all of a sudden SpaceX works. I honestly think he throttled SpaceX until he can get this fucking robot online, because that's his actual plan. He wants to go to Mars.
Think like he's gonna take out Trump and put like autonomous Trump in there that like Elon's
I
controlling?
don't fucking know, man. I think he is Miles Dyson.
Huge.
The
best. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Out of the Trump McDonald's thing, best tweet I saw was from Ben Shapiro.
Yeah?
Yeah. He goes, it was just like, and that's how I took down the Hamburglar. Bad guy, real bad guy, died like a dog. I was like, that was actually really funny.
Trump's a hilarious fucking dude. He's just a hilarious character.
No, but I mean, that was Ben Shapiro's
Shapiro.
like quoting, saying that's what he was, saying at the drive-in. I was like, that's funny. That's a good joke. But he is a hilarious guy.
And yeah, Fizz, that's what I think. I think Elon needed all this Twitter data. That's why he wants it to be more free speech. He wants it to be more human. He needs the data.
So funny. What a heel turn.
Robots.
And it's like, really, it's just so he can get in the office and he can run the world.
He has brain chips too. Like the tech he has is literal sci-fi cyberpunk shit, and it's real. And that's
it is, but that shit's kind of nice too. Like from the way it sounds now, it's pretty wholesome. It's just like people who can never see.
That's true.
Can kind of see. People with like no brain function and shit can kind of communicate, like or like no body function. I mean, that's some beautiful stuff, dude. Yeah.
It's like,
and
I can't believe we can see this shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of like long term for the species. We have to get off the planet, right? Just in case there is some catastrophe, like some. Like, I don't know, a couple superpowers like meddling with other people with nuclear weapons, some kind of weird off the wall thing that wouldn't really ever happen. And they do accidentally wipe out humanity on the planet. We still have to have humans somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I like that he's pioneering it. I mean, the space program seemed to be static for the past 40 years.
Very true.
With the exception of some rovers and stuff. It didn't really seem we were doing much with it. And he's basically like, he's doing things that were like thought impossible.
Bob says if that robot takes all that his ex will rip his own head off and become the most racist robot ever. Maybe he's just gonna.
It'll be like at the end of Wolfenstein with the Mecha Hitler.
That'd be fucking awesome. Oh shit! But
to the Trump thing, I had a question for you because I know you're a big wrestling guy. What do you think about the feud that's going on amongst the wrestlers? That's like they're taking up political sides. Undertaker had
I have
had
to make
Trump
a video about this because there's a greater conversation about letting politics dictate what you like, and because I'm in this place where I think politics are obviously not irrelevant, but just for my day to day they're irrelevant. I'm not gonna let politics get in my way of anything. But
sure,
I think it's very weird. I mean. If you know some of these people, a lot of these people have had their political slants. Hell, Kane, who's not Undertaker's real brother, but they seem like brothers because they were on-screen brothers for like 30 years. He is the mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
Has been for years as a Republican. And, I mean.
So weird.
Undertaker's from Texas, so it stands to reason he probably leans right. So it's not like this is a surprise.
No.
It's just the fact that because everyone has a podcast, and I don't think his is even that old, and he happened, he wrestled, and Vince McMahon has been friends with Trump. Trump has been on WWE television.
Right.
He's actually, I think, in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Undefeated at WrestleMania.
Yeah. He's actually been at WrestleMania, you know what I mean? So it was something that they could do and he could pull off. And Trump's, he's just going everywhere. He went to McDonald's, you know what I mean? He's trying to get to every single element of his fan base.
Yeah.
But even though I think culturally there's a lot less of this, there are still people who like cringe at Trump and just, oh my God, Trump, and that TDS is still real for some.
Still very real.
Still real. It's definitely downplay. It's nowhere near what it was in 2020.
Both my parents said they're going to vote for Kamala, and I'm like, how can you, in good faith, just say that? How can you be like that? Like, you cannot tell me you like her as a candidate.
No.
There's no way. Even less so than Biden. I mean, at least Biden had like the Obama sheen on him, where people liked him. But like, you cannot tell me you think Kamala Harris is a good candidate. But it's just TDS, man. It's just like it can't be not Trump. It just can't be Trump.
Yeah. I was thinking about that. Going back, I try to get healthy, even though I'm a fat fuck. But I walk around. I do walk. and I'm actually gonna try to do cardio after this. But there's a lot of Trump signs. I'm in Texas. It stands to reason, and there are humans that would get angry if they saw these signs. They would.
I still would never wear like a MAGA hat around this town. Would never.
I wouldn't either. I would try to use that.
Yeah, he's impervious.
There are people. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, there's a lot of Trump signs. There are people who will really feel like offended and upset. I'm actually grateful to, as crazy as you motherfuckers are in the chat, because you guys say wild shit on my channel, and as crazy as this whole thing, I am glad I've been like, I don't let this shit get me. There's a few Kamala signs that doesn't get to me. It's like, okay, whatever.
No, I don't care. I'm always like, ew, boo, gay, but I don't ever like. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let this actually affect my emotional state in any way.
I'm in Austin, Texas. I expect it. You know what I mean? It's almost weirder to see a Trump something.
Yeah.
I would say something too. Just like a little life hack as far as like losing weight. I over the past year, maybe two, have really picked up like sauna, and combined with like the Apple Watch. Yeah, dude, my heart rate today. I was in the sauna for like 15 minutes. Like towards the end of it, my heart rate was in like zone 2 or 3. It was at like 144.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm just sitting there in the heat. So it's like you are like burning calories just by sitting.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, and it's like you're in like zone 2. I mean, that's like that's like mild cardio.
Yeah. That's great. I did not realize that.
Just a little life hack: if you don't have a sauna anywhere near you, too, they have like these sauna blankets you can buy.
Okay.
Which are like kind of like a hot sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And like I'll get into it like full sweats, you know what I mean, and just get in and sit. It takes longer, but still, my heart rate gets up.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, shit, I love doing nothing. So if I could figure that shit out.
I mean, it's such a life. Like, it's like you can't base like your, fitness around it, but it's a nice way to kind of supplement what you're doing.
Add some extra.
By not doing much.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. My brother made like a homemade sauna out of like a, like a weed grow room. They have like these portable, I don't know, like this metallic material on the inside. And like you use as a grow room, you just put a chair and like some lights in.
Oh, like infrared.
I think it's an infrared light.
Oh, those are supposed to be even better for you.
Yeah, and it just uses the reflective stuff that you would usually use, like a LED grow light, instead of reflecting onto you. Infrared light.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah,
I've heard about people doing like homemade cold plunges, like in a freezer.
I've seen that too.
Yeah, that's pretty clever. Like caulk up the side so it doesn't leak or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, that's pretty good. Pretty good, like life hack.
It says sauna is a gay thing. It's not as gay. Black people love sauna. See, this is the shit I'm talking about.
Do
I don't know. I never heard it. When I'm at the black meetings, we never, it never comes up.
Doesn't come up.
Doesn't
bring
come
it up next time. Get a consensus.
I will. What's the thoughts on sauna?
Let us know.
Yeah, we need to know.
Yeah. But no, I and it's also like it feels good. You sweat, like your pores. You feel like healthy. Yeah, you kind of like sweat out bullshit. Like it's good.
The toxins.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to say that because I hate that word because it's such catch-all bullshit.
Toxins. It's kind of
anything.
Marketing bullshit.
Yeah, but it does. I mean, you do feel better. You feel like good, and it's like it's like hard, but it's also like rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little life hack.
I'm gonna have to look more into it. And New Bomb has an interesting point. He said he see Trump stickers on Priuses and Biden stickers on 3,500 Rams. Shit is so upside down in Tucson. I could make a joke about
Arizona's
Rams being gay,
weird,
but I am more of a Chrysler guy.
You got a lot of Californians.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arizona's got a lot of bleed from California.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weirdly liberal state. New Mexico too.
Yeah.
You're like, you guys are liberal? All right. Really? It's just like there's nothing. It's just weird. Like I always feel like it's the denser urban areas that are usually
yeah. Think of more city area, the coast, right?
Yeah.
Major cities. Even when they talk about Texas, when they talk about it potentially going purple or blue.
I will say, Cotton, it's not entirely ungay. I usually just wear my shorts on. You know what I mean, like my workout shorts. But there are some dudes that go in there straight nude, and it's a little. I don't love it.
That's weird, man.
I agree. There's definitely like some guys at my gym who are way too comfortable with public nudity. I hate it.
Bro, man, I hate the gym. I actually like going.
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten back in the habit of going. But you know what? there's a lot of talk about how people are antisocial now. I believe it. I can go. I'm thinking, all right, I don't have a life. It's 9 to 10 o'clock on a Friday night. Most people, it's Houston. Even if this technically isn't Houston, you can hop on the freeway, get to Houston, get to a club, a bar, a restaurant, something to do. There's something to do that's not like 30 people in the fucking gym at like 9:30. Maybe 30 is exaggeration, but it's at least like 15 fuckers. It's like, what the fuck are you people doing? You don't have any lives? I'm here because I don't think you're going to be here.
Yeah. I know that's the thing. You got to find it. Like, it depends on the gym. Like, I know at my gym, like at 9 a.m., place is a ghost town.
Yeah.
There's no one there. It picks up again, like in the middle of the day, like around 11, noon, because I guess people are on their lunch breaks and they go get a pump in or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty quiet again from like 2 to 5. Then it's busy again. And then usually at night it's pretty quiet. So you got to like find like the ghost times. I'm the same way. Like if it's busy, I hate being there.
I really do. I hate it.
I hate it.
And it's not like, I'm not going to lie, I used to be all I'm worried about being judged. Now it's just like, motherfucker.
I just don't like it.
Instagram's a funny place. I just need to use this machine, my guy. Like, please don't hog the leg press and look on Instagram for 30 minutes.
I hate that shit.
Just please. That's all I ask.
Hate that shit. And I also just find like the energies of gyms can kind of be uncomfortable because you're in a room full of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But no one's socializing.
Yeah, no one's talking to anyone.
It's so uncomfortable. It's so unnatural. It's like the only environment where you do that. Maybe like a train station or something. But you know, when you're not normally all hanging out in the same room for 2 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't really even acknowledge each other.
No, unless someone is trying to use a machine or something that you're using or something.
Everyone's
like
got their headphones on, you know.
Yeah, and everyone's trying not to make eye contact with anything.
Yeah.
And then in a post TikTok world, even though there's some big ass women, there are some beautiful women at the gym.
Later, new
cannot look. All right, man. Peace. I appreciate you joining us.
Oh, bro, I would much rather I'd much rather have a male only gym.
Me too.
I hate it.
I do not need to be thinking about your ass cheeks when I'm trying to get this
it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's just like and also like my testosterone's super high because I'm lifting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then she's just like, you know, bending down and like I'm like, you're not wearing panties.
No,
like,
they never do.
Tiny little
and they wear
shorts.
like the tightest clothes.
It's like I can see you know, from memory I could sketch your vagina.
Right? Like I was just about to say,
like, it's so detailed.
I can kind of see your lips, girl. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's crazy. And like, you know, so that's uncomfortable. And then it's just distracting. It's not why I'm there. Like I'd just rather they were in a separate room, like men's room, women's room. You know what I mean?
That would be so much better.
Yeah, I hate it.
Even if it's men's time, I'll just come during the men's time. That's what she said.
That would just. I like that. You know, it just make me more comfortable. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I do it and I go.
Yeah.
Like I said, I usually go during the downtimes too because I don't like it when it's busy. I don't like waiting. It's too uncomfortable too. It's too much energy.
Yeah. And I just think it's weird. Like I said, I usually go 9, 10, sometimes 11, sometimes later than that. I'm trying not to go late. I'm trying to also fix my fucking sleep schedule.
Word.
So you can sometimes get a boost of energy. I don't want to get a boost of energy 2 fucking a.m. because I'm trying to avoid somebody. If it's like 10, hopefully I tire myself out. I come home and go to sleep or some shit.
Does your building have a gym?
No, actually, I rent a house.
Oh.
House. I figured it was just, even though they're building a ton of fucking apartments, I'm scared to death they're going to drive me out with the rates next year. But I figured it would be around a similar price, at least when I did it. So, I'm just rent a house.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, it's nicer to have a house anyway.
And I got a little discount through a gym. I'm thinking of, because I want to start playing basketball, joining another gym at the same time, just so I can play basketball. I think they have a sauna or something, do a pool and all the other stuff.
Yeah. There's a gym here called Lifetime.
Yeah,
that's got all that shit. Yeah, but it's like $300 a month or some shit.
Yeah, I think it's a quote unquote uppity gym brand.
That's a lot.
Yes, it's a lot
for your gym. I mean, my gym's like 100, and that's a lot.
That's shit. I'm not paying that.
Yeah, but it has all the shit. It has the sauna. It's got the cold plunge. You know, it has like a great weight selection. Like, there's like workout room. And it also has a whole climbing gym if I want to climb, which I don't really climb anymore. But I like my gym, so it's like it's worth it to me.
All that cool shit.
But there's some gym up north, and I see that guy Chris Williamson, the YouTuber. You know, he's pretty jacked, and he's always talking with like bodybuilders or whatever. But someone was telling me about it. It's a gym up north called The Collective, and I guess like you have to like apply to
Oh,
join.
no.
And like they have to like go through like your socials and stuff like that. You have to like give them
What?
like that information. Yeah, and I heard it's like thousands a month or some
What?
crazy shit.
That seems
Yeah,
cultish.
I know it
Is
is.
this gym related to Scientology? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know, man. I will say, not that I would ever. I don't think I would ever do that, but I will say, like, I used to go to a gym in LA that was smaller and had like a more intimate like group of people. So like I
Yeah.
knew most of them at least by face, and it's kind of nice when when everyone everybody, and it's more relaxing,
A little less awkward.
a lot less awkward. Yeah. You're like, oh, what's up, man? How you doing? Yeah, what's going on, bro? And then you go back to your workout. It's no big deal. It doesn't have that same kind of weird stranger tension that you have in a bigger gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I have to apply. Interested in becoming a member? Apply for membership today.
There's a weird
That's
gym culture
crazy.
going on, man.
That is weird.
There's a very weird gym culture going on.
Yeah.
I knew Instagram fitness and TikTok fitness and this shit existed. And I'm not really seeing. I remember when I was in Charlotte and the first time I saw a girl do that thing where she goes in between like the leg extensions with her hips and like hip thrust. When I first saw that, I was like, what the fuck is she doing? What is happening?
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, this is a thing that girls do to get their hips bigger or some shit. I don't know how this shit works.
It's actually a great workout. Sometimes I even do it. Like it's really good for all like those muscles, like in your their glutes and your hips and like your core, your thighs. It's gay as it is, or aggressively sexual as it is. It's a great workout.
Thrusting in the air. They have machines for it now, though.
Yeah,
like there's machines specifically instead of doing the leg curl twist thing. There's
it's a
machines
great workout.
for it.
I
And
feel
then
like a lot of people
do it or a Smith machine.
I feel like a lot of people are moving away from like squats and deadlifts. I think like it makes you very injury prone.
God, yes. I'm glad because like I've off and on, even though I'm fat fuck, I've been off and on like into working out and shit. And there was a time where when you look up working out, oh, just do squats, deadlift, bench, 5x5. And if you do anything else, you're a pussy and there's something wrong with you. And it's like, no, listen, man, I am nearly 40. I am not trying to squat 500 pounds and break my back. I'm not that guy. I cannot bench press, man. I cannot mentally hold that bar over my head and not be afraid of dropping it. I can't mentally do it. I need to use
Can you get like a spotter? Because bench pressing, I do think is good.
If I had a spotter, I can do it. I can use dumbbells. I'm cool with dumbbells. I can drop it.
Yeah,
I'll do dumbbells. I'll do the little chest press machine. But there's something in my head, and I have a weak chest anyway. And I can't think about like I don't want to go too heavy. I don't want to drop the shit on me. And
I get it.
I use a Smith machine, but I
always get a little anxiety when I bench. I definitely always stop at least a rep or two probably before I could keep going because I don't want that moment where I'm just like, oh fuck, and then it's just stuck on my chest and I have to like roll it off or ask someone for help.
I hate that.
That's embarrassing. Yeah, do you do cable flies? That's a good one for chest.
I just do the machine flies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah. The cable ones, I don't know. It's just too much work because you get two different little stations. And like, again, people are always fucking there. So you might, someone might be using one of them.
I get that. It's a little socially like, oh, this whole thing's mine now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get the best extension with the cables. So I guess like the whole,
because it goes a little further back.
Yeah. But all right, well, I think we'll wrap it up pretty soon. I did have just one thing I want to run by you. Just curious what your take was, if you even know about it. Did you know what's going on with like Tim Pool?
Oh no, what happened with Tim Pool?
So, all right, I'll just show you. I'll
He made fun of Tim Pool. I didn't know he was going through something.
Yeah, apparently it's all over X.
Did he finally take his beanie off? What happened?
Oh, that would be great. Now. Oh, did you see KSI's new song?
Yeah, it's become a meme of everyone making fun of it.
Oh, it's so bad.
It does sound like
of it, and everybody knows. Ugh, cringe.
To the brain, to the chains, whatever the fuck he said.
It's brutal, and he's got the Prime bottle in the video. Ugh.
It sounds like the advertisement to like Madagascar or something like that.
Oh wow, that's so bad. That's so insulting.
Just, you know what I mean? Like, this is one of the songs they play in the back of Shark Tale when they're showing the trailer.
I don't have any point of reference for like Madagascar or Shark Tale.
Oh man, well, I'm just thinking of.
I can't imagine that's what he wanted it to be compared
I
to.
can't imagine either, and that's the
No.
type of thing that scares me off of making music. What the fuck is that he even have? He has a sword and this old gun.
Like a
Come on, man.
cutlass, like a
I mean, it's kind of cool, but
blunderbuss. It's a
I
little.
don't
It's
know.
also two conflicting kind of military cultures. Like one looks like, pirates, and the other one's like samurai.
yeah.
Looks-
Isn't
it
he
looks a
part
little-
Asian? Is that the gimmick? He's American and he's Asian.
Is he Asian?
And it's
I don't
shown
know.
in his weaponry.
I didn't know that he worked for Vice for a while.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing that he would talk about. I think that's how he met Adam before he kicked him out.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. I'll let Tim tell you.
Is we had our like, I don't know, 12th studio failure.
Oh,
this
hold
morning,
on. I
the
think I
new one.
missed the beginning of it.
Is we had
Oh,
our
okay.
like, I don't know, 12th studio failure this morning.
The new one.
Yeah, the new studio
Yeah.
failed. And my attitude with that is kind of just like, yeah, if we can't make cameras and a computer work, and despite all the previous failures we've had, there's not a single person here
Yeah.
who can make sure that either the studio is operating or secondary studio.
Okay, let me just say, because I thought that was this clip, but I must have picked the wrong one. He said he's done with
Oh.
the whole thing. And then
Okay.
and this is like him talking about, I guess, like his incompetent staff or something like that.
Yeah, I was just about to say, damn, he's throwing these motherfuckers directly under the bus. Like, do not
Directly
pass
under
go.
the bus. Yeah.
Studios
As
operating.
many technical issues. I mean, I know we don't have Tim Pool's operation, but like technical issues are inevitable, man.
He's such a great leader, whining on camera, and not
Right?
doing this behind the scenes. I mean, I get it. It sounds like his. Well, we'll finish the clip.
Yeah,
We've gotten to a point in the company where everyone's kind of just kicked their feet up and said, I'm doing what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
And then that just means I'm Sisyphus pushing the rock up. The problem is people are sitting on the rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is we had our
So he goes on to say, no more Tim Pool clips. But
Yeah.
he goes on to say that like people are lazy, and I guess like
You
a lot of
hired him, bro.
people- Yeah. Well, that's what everyone's saying. That's all their criticism is just kind of like, why are you blowing this up on the air? Why don't you deal with this behind the scenes and like, fire them or reprimand them or whatever, cut their hours, something like that, so you get the results you want. But he also, God, I hate Twitter. I don't know why I spend there. Hey, 30 months. Holy Christ. Here's to culture fence riders mounting up again. To you, my friend.
Are we fence riders?
He's called me that for a while. Once we
Yeah.
kind of stopped doing like the culture criticism stuff, he's
Yeah.
been calling us a fence rider ever since.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you
I
gonna do?
felt, you know what? I definitely know there's a lot of people I do not see ever since I've stopped. Ever since I stopped criticizing the woke stuff, it's like, I mean, hey, it is
I
what
had
it is.
people stop showing up, when I wasn't really talking about the Expanse anymore. It is what it is.
Yeah. You come for a thing, and then that thing's not here. I get it.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm not mad at all. Love ya, Manowar.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah.
Watching us ride the fence. Pause.
Nah, yeah, I
No
appreciate
Diddy.
it. That's funny. No Diddy. I like that's the new pause.
Yeah.
No Diddy.
Or the new no homos. Now it's no Diddy.
That's great. But anyway, but he's been weird on X recently for a while. Like he was talking about how I guess there was some blocking thing that they changed, and like people could maybe still see your content or whatever after you block them. And he was talking about how like that made him more vulnerable to like maybe getting swatted again and people like attacking him, blah 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 blah. But he's just been having like it's been a weird like couple weeks with Tim, and now maybe he's just like, I'm done.
I mean, there's a lot of jokes to be had at his expense. I mean, just in general, right? But I definitely, as a YouTuber, feel like there's times, oh man, I just want to quit. It's a very stressful. I'm not making the type of money he is, but that won't eliminate the stress. The stress actually just goes up because now the stakes are up.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, and
now,
this gets. I mean, when I was doing like my stream and the Culture Crime Fighters and the Cocktail Lounge all while working, that was exhausting.
yeah.
And then trying to put out videos in between that and cut up clips and like also feeling like you're not getting any. It was a lot.
It's
I
a whole
understand.
lot.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot. And so I get that. But shit, I'm not acting like I'm an expert. Like I've never crashed out on stream. But you do gotta quote unquote do better. You can't just like air out your fucking dirty laundry.
No.
There's no shame in saying going to your staff. I mean, shit. I work for a business. If somebody fucks up, we write them up. If that continues to happen, then hey, if you fuck this up again, you'll get fired. And if they do, then they get fired. And you usually go that far, but it can. That's the standard process for most jobs. Some form of that, depending on how bad the fuck up. Maybe you go further, but whatever. There's a way to be a business that isn't go on my stream and talk shit about my nameless staff, and just call them lazy. Like, you hired these people. Did you hire a bunch of your friends and they just think it's a hangout all of a sudden and now you're mad? It's like, well, this was your decision, my guy.
Like, Opie and Anthony used to talk a lot about stuff that goes on behind the scenes, on air. But also a lot of the people that were being talked about and talked to were kind of characters on the show. Like, we kind of, as the audience, knew them.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
That's a big difference in that.
It's a big difference. And
They're
it was also
faceless.
It was also done for fun, and usually it wouldn't be like Opie and Anthony. Wouldn't ever be Anthony. Sometimes it was Opie, but generally it wasn't Opie, Anthony, or Jimmy ever really genuinely criticizing them. Or if they were, it was just out in the open and very public. It wasn't like vagaries, about how they've been doing, which just kind of condemns their whole character. It would be like one particular issue that they would, why did this not happen? And they would talk about it in front of everybody. And it just was a much more like it's still kind of the same thing, but it just didn't feel, that feels very, like you said, throw under the bus kind of thing. Yeah,
very smug.
Yeah.
That's another thing, just smug. And like, you're the boss and you're talking in vaguities. You're not really being specific. Hey, Culture.
What's up,
Been
buddy?
a long time.
Good to see you, man.
Appreciate you being here.
Yeah, brother.
But yeah, it's, I haven't watched Tim Pool actually since he got rid of Adam, and that's like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? It was like a while ago. I mean, I'm not saying I've seen no episodes or no clips, but just as far as actively listening and seeking out his material.
Tim Pool, only thing I ever see is on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't have a Twitter.
I don't watch his show. I don't care. The guy, he is the king of saying something and then immediately taking it back.
you want to talk about a fence sitter, man of war?
Ooh.
God damn it!
That guy's got the post up his ass. I mean,
yes,
he's part of the fence. It's crazy. Like, and I don't know. Like, I watched. I think it was Carl Benjamin and one of his dudes over from the Lotus Eaters were on there, and it was interesting. It was a really interesting conversation, except when Tim would jump in.
Yeah,
shut up.
That's another thing. He's just not
He's like the skater Ben Shapiro,
Yeah, man, he's not an interesting guy. He's not an entertaining guy.
I genuinely don't
seriously
get it. I don't understand why he's such an appealing personality.
Some people just wrote the algo smooth.
Yeah, maybe he was just also probably he was novel. Right, getting
time,
there
right
first
place
is big.
Yeah. I remember when those streams first started, they were a lot. I mean, they still had a little production, but they definitely weren't as produced as they were.
Right,
and they, just him, Adam, and Lydia. And I actually liked the show then, and then as it got bigger, and it became like you can tell he fashions himself as if not a Tucker Carlson, just a Anderson, a media personality on the level of a CNN or Fox News name show type guy. That's what that's the idea, at least.
Is that he's the type of guy who thinks he's really intellectual and analytical.
Yes.
And wants to wait and wait, hold on, let me understand. And but it's almost like a vanity.
Mm-hmm.
That's my impression. I don't know. I barely watch him. I don't find him compelling or interesting at all.
Yeah. Crowder did.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Crowder had a large audience, and he kept a large audience. Is he still out there? Is still out there, Crowder?
Maybe.
I have no idea.
Your guess is as good as mine.
I'm operating under the assumption he still does it.
Yeah.
And it was after all that really embarrassing shit came out about him.
Yeah.
Stuff really lame, dude, behind the scenes contract stuff with the Daily Wire and then all that shit with his wife. And you're like,
shit
bro.
with his wife, shit with the people that used to work there.
Yeah.
What's
That's
guy,
right.
Dave
Landau.
Dave Landau. We were just talking about this motherfucker. Mud Club still exists, Culture Casino says.
Okay, still exists. Yeah, and he was talking about how controlled the environment was and how they had to rehearse everything and there was a light, when to be funny, when to talk. It was just all about, it seemed I was like, ew, dude, You guys still
He
like
seems
this
to
guy?
have had a massive ego. There's
Yeah.
something about this internet shit. Listen, internet is rotting my brain right now, so I get it. And I'm just watching memes. I feel so boomer. It's rotting my brain to shit. There's something about growing to a certain point and believing your own hype that some of these motherfuckers doing. Yeah, he's fighting for the soul of the country, man.
Oh, that's right. Oh God, that was so embarrassing.
This is about a country. He's this fucker. Was he Terrell Owens? He's like getting mad at getting offered $50 million or whatever the fuck this contract is. T.O. doing sit-ups in the fucking driveway thinks maybe you're being a little bit much, my guy.
Yeah, dude. It was not really impressive, and it's just kind of like, dude, I'm sorry that I don't believe you when it's just like, well, this amount of millions wasn't enough for all this genius,
Yeah.
I'm making all these millions for you. I'm airing out contract disputes for you. It's like, are you? I don't feel represented by that.
Yeah, I definitely don't think it is. It's just like, Jesus. This is how I kind of became this illusion with the whole right. Yeah, middle-aged dude with beanies don't appeal to me.
Oh,
You
fuck,
start
I
wearing
am
hoodies.
middle-aged, aren't I? Oh, my God.
Yeah, man, we're middle-aged.
That's
I mean,
wild.
Late 30s is middle age. I mean, yeah, hopefully you can get 80, 90 years out, but I mean, you double up your age and like, oh shit, that's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years. My
74
uncle
would
died
be me.
younger than that. Younger than 80.
Yeah.
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 I don't want to
Got to make the most of it. This is why I'm less political, because I can't care about this shit. I don't know how many years my fat ass got. I got to get these calories off. So if I don't do this wrong, I got 30, 40 years. 40 years is generous.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, that's
generous,
not a long time.
No,
I got to
it's
make the
not
most of
really.
this. I don't give a fuck about Trump or Kamala or this movie or this game. Unless it's good. But if you're telling me that Hollywood made something shitty, I got to tell you, that's not news. It's not newsworthy, man. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna make something shitty again.
That's a good point. That is not news. It's news when they don't.
Yeah, it is news when they don't.
Yeah.
Let me know when they don't make something shitty. Let me know when something good comes out.
It's like the Penguin.
Please.
Penguin's good.
Penguin is good. I gotta check out more of it. I gotta binge
That's
it.
huge. All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for this Culture Crime Fighter reunion.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. It's always so easy to talk to you, brother.
Yeah, we gotta do this again.
Yeah, barely need to prepare. Just come up with a few topics and
go. We'll get through it. We can wing it.
Hells yes. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Great to see some old faces. Man of War,
Yeah.
Culture Casino, Ogre Squasher at the beginning. That was fucking cool. Good to see
Yeah.
everyone here. Ascension Dildo, New Bomb, everyone who
I
dropped
still
in.
have a channel, guys. So yeah, you can. No more 5-hour streams, man.
Nah.
10-hour streams. Those are not midweek.
I can't do stuff like that anymore.
Golly, do you believe we did that for like years?
Ooh, for a while, like 100+ episodes, we did that. Deep into the night.
And I was on episodes, and I don't remember what happened, man.
Oh yeah, there was a few. Well,
There's some
the thing is,
episodes.
there's some clips out there still, man, that I just like. Oh, I cringe every time. Like,
Man, I am happy that you have a lot of the stuff privated, man, just because it's like there are hours of me on the internet and I do not know what happened. Like I was at a Diddy party. I know I keep using the Diddy jokes, but seriously,
not good.
I was getting pretty hammered during the pandemic, man. I was getting sauced.
Yeah, I mean because that was kind of the whole thing. Was the
Yeah.
cocktail lounge was like a drinking show, and but then there were a few times. Normally, I kept it like relatively together, but there's a few, man, where I'm like, oh no. Oh no, and then they get brought up and everyone else remembers.
Yeah.
There's video.
Memorable. Yeah,
Woo.
man.
Those are brutal.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and like by the way, Zax is like a sneaky like documenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you were on this show, but there was one time Ruben read a poem.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot about this. This was like 2 years ago. And Zax played a clip from it the other day on his show. So don't piss off Zax. He might have some
he
real
has
dirt.
all the footage.
Yeah.
He knows where the bodies are buried. Jesus.
Mhm, yeah, he does. So, keep that guy on your good side because
Oh,
you never
man.
know, man. He might just drop that shit.
Shit, I could have been on the stream just lit, man. I realized sometimes they tell me about, like, we'll bring it up, and I know we're about to get out of here. Sometimes they'll tell me about streaming. I'm like, do remember. Sometimes I don't, and I think, oh, I didn't catch every stream. I wasn't on all of them, especially like the second year. I missed a lot of them, and then it's like, wait a second, I remember that part of the stream. I was on that stream.
Yep.
I just don't remember most of it because I was fucking drunk.
Yep. Such a dildo, you little rat.
Oh man, I was snitching.
No, that was a good one. Yeah, that was an interesting night. God bless Ruben. Zax is a good dude. I agree with that. Good. Culture Casino. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the MFer Podcast. Thank you so much for joining. You guys are wonderful people. Remember, this is also on Rumble, so subscribe over there, the MFer Podcast channel, where all the episodes will remain forever. And additionally, it's available anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. So head over to those platforms if you can, if you got it in you, if you feel like it, if you're bored. Give your boy a 5-star review, and remember to follow me on X and Instagram. And every Monday night, the MFer Podcast. I recognize it's Tuesday, but so make an exception for the man here.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, but thank you guys so much, and thank you, Vig, for popping on. Subscribe to Vig if you ever not already.
Yeah,
but I
please sub. And if you got the eliminated as a sub, please resub.
Yes, Culture Casino. I will be present at the meetup. I'm excited to go back, and it's great that it's only an hour drive and I don't need to drive to Dallas or fly to Vegas. It's just like down the road.
That's cool.
Go. All right, y'all, have a great night. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all next week. Ta-ta.
Peace.
Think we're out.
I always say